Chapter 1503. Lu Yang thought that he had killed Yang Jinan on the spot. Suddenly, he heard Yang Jinan's voice. He hurriedly turned around and panicked. He said in a low voice, "Impossible. How did you dodge my attack?" Yang Jinan had only displayed the strength of a level 5 Astral Rune Realm expert, while Lu Yang was already a level 9 Astral Rune Realm expert. He didn't believe that Yang Jinan could withstand his all-out attack. "You think you're strong?" Yang Jinan asked with a faint smile. "What level are you at?" Lu Yang shouted and attacked Yang Jinan again. Green Dragon Heavenly Kill. Lu Yang unleashed his full power. This time, he released the Azure Battle Aura. Everyone around felt that he was different from the rest. This is the Azure Battle Aura?" Yang Tianlin said in surprise. "That's right. I can feel the resonance. Could he be a member of our Yang clan?" Another Azure Celestial Saint exclaimed. "He's from the Yang clan, right? Is that the Azure Battle Aura?" Lu Yang. Is his real name Yang Lu? Or is it a fake name? Haha. He must be a prodigy who was ostracized by the Yang clan. He has a grudge against Yang Qingxing and is back for revenge. How strong is Yang Jinan? Why can't we kill him? I'll let you know the difference in strength. Yang Jinan didn't plan to give Lu Yang a chance. Once he surrendered, he wouldn't be able to take him down. Dragon Rebel Spear Technique. He used the Yang clan's inherited spear technique. He became one with the spear, and the power of the spear was shocking. It was like a dragon rushing out of the river, or a black tortoise descending from the sky, suppressing the world. Boom! There was a shocking explosion, and power splashed everywhere. The Azure Dragon collapsed, and the Flood Dragon showed its ferocity. Puff! Before the crowd could see the exchange of moves, a figure was sent flying, and blood spurted out. They took a closer look and found that the person who had been sent flying was Lu Yang. Yang Jinan rushed over, preparing to give Lu Yang another blow and kill him. Yang Qingxing's voice sounded, "Don't kill him yet." Yang Jinan hesitated for a moment. Lu Yang said weakly, "I admit defeat." After Lu Yang admitted defeat, the divine matrix of the battle ring flashed, and he was sent out of the battle ring. As soon as Lu Yang landed on the arena, he immediately stuffed a healing pill into his mouth and quickly recovered from his injuries. His chest had been pierced by Yang Jinan. If he hadn't dodged in time, his heart would have shattered and he would have lost his life. Damn it, this Yang Jinan is a peak tier sage. I fell for it. Lu Yang cursed inwardly. Just as he was about to drag his injured body away, Yang Qingxing blocked his path. "Who are you? Haven't you already guessed who I am?" Lu Yang said and left as fast as he could. Even though he was injured, his speed was still not slow. Yang Qingxing chased after him without hesitation. If he didn't get to the bottom of this, he would definitely feel uneasy. Someone from the Yang clan immediately followed. Lu Yang was very powerful, and Yang Qingxing was no match for him. The sages who had participated in the selection of the martial sage were not allowed to be chased after in War God City after leaving the battle ring. This was also why Lu Yang had no scruples. Yang Wu, who was watching from afar, said to Yang Ba beside him, "Follow him and take a look." "Yes," Yang Ba replied and quickly flew over. After Yang Jinan defeated Lu Yang, no one dared to underestimate his strength. They felt that this guy must have hidden a lot of combat power. Without a certain level of strength, they shouldn't challenge him. On this day, Yang Jinan sat cross-legged on the battle ring. No one dared to challenge him. It wasn't until the second day that a peak tier sage went up to challenge him. This was a sage who had come to the Xing clan to bribe him. His mission was to kill Yang Jinan. In the end, this peak tier sage was killed by Yang Jinan within 5 moves. After this battle, no one dared to challenge Yang Jinan. He guarded the battle ring for 3 days, and no one dared to challenge him. He successfully obtained the qualifications to participate in the Martial Sage Assembly. He was also the second sage from the Yang clan to enter the Martial Sage Assembly. Yang Jinan's name resounded throughout the battle world from this day onwards. No one dared to underestimate Yang Jinan anymore. He was also secretly targeted by his enemies and became one of the people on the must-kill list. After Yang Jinan entered the Martial Sage Assembly, it stimulated the other battle clans. One after another, people from the battle clans went up to the battle ring to fight for a spot. Liu Yang, who was defeated by Yang Jinan, almost killed Yang Qingxing. When Yang Wu heard this news, he sighed inwardly, lucky. If he hadn't sent Yang Ba to chase after Liu Yang, Yang Qingxing would have been killed. Liu Yang was stronger than Yang Qingxing. Even if he was heavily injured, he could still kill Yang Qingxing. After Yang Ba saved Yang Qingxing, he wanted to capture Liu Yang. Unfortunately, someone suddenly appeared and saved Liu Yang. Do you recognize the person who saved Liu Yang? Yang Wu asked Yang Ba. They were wearing masks. I can't recognize them. They are very strong, Yang Ba replied. It seems like there's a conspiracy behind this, Yang Wu sighed. After a pause, he said, Call everyone here. I have something to say. This time, Yang Wu gathered the Yang clan's people again and gave them a stern warning. There were enemies targeting the Yang clan. No matter what they did, they should try not to go out alone. Everything should be focused on obtaining a spot in the martial sage assembly. As the patriarch of the Yang clan, Yang Wu didn't want anything to happen to the Yang clan sage in War God City. In addition, he continued to increase the strength of the clan sages. The stronger sages helped the weaker sages to increase their battle strength. He hoped that in these 2 years, their strength would increase again. Yang Wu wasn't a stingy person. For the sake of the clan sages, he took out the second-grade immortal liquid to help them increase their strength. As the patriarch, he was both a father and a mother. He did his duty well. After Yang Wu dealt with these things, he was thinking about how to deal with Bai Minghong. Although he had already calmed down the hatred of the Yang clan, he still felt that some people would be unsatisfied. He had to lure the snake out of its hole as soon as possible and get rid of the hidden danger in advance. Yang Wu looked at white-haired Demonis and said, I want to send your senior brother away. It's up to you, young master. White-haired Demonis replied. Then she said, My senior brother is not weak. I can send him away. Young master doesn't need to personally escort him. Okay, let's not delay. Let him go now, Yang Wu said in a low voice. After white-haired Demonis sent Bai Minghong away, Yang Wu immediately ordered people to quietly spread the news. Yunxi, I hope you don't blame me. Yang Wu sighed softly in his heart. When he made this decision, he didn't feel good at all. But for the sake of the clan's interests, he had to do it. Not long after white-haired Demonis and Bai Minghong left the Yang clan, a group of masked sages chased after them. Where do you think you're going? Quickly surrender. If you surrender, we can give you a quick death. Otherwise, you'll die without a burial place. Take them down and interrogate them about the situation outside. In the martial sage selection, it was not easy to kill sages outside the arena. This group of sages dared to chase after white-haired Demonis and Bai Minghong openly because they were sages from outside and not from the continent. If they killed them, then so be it. The other forces wouldn't mind. Junior sister, you set me up? Bai Minghong looked at white-haired Demonis and shouted. They had already disguised themselves and hidden their strength. They quietly left the Yang clan's courtyard at night. The news wouldn't be leaked easily. If the Yang clan didn't do this on purpose, who would react so quickly? White-haired Demonis' face turned pale. No, if I did this, I wouldn't have asked young master to save you. Could it be? She thought of a possibility and felt suffocated. It can't be young master. Bai Minghong and white-haired Demonis were attacked by these people. There were even top sages among them. They had no chance of winning. Bai Minghong didn't want to die. He used all his strength to escape, ignoring white-haired Demonis. Now, he hated white-haired Demonis to death. At the same time, he hated Yang Wu. Even if Yang Wu removed the soul curse for him, he didn't feel grateful at all. Senior brother, I'll protect you and leave. White-haired Demonis held a top sacred weapon and fought with those sages. She wanted to stop these sages by herself. These sages weren't weak. How could white-haired Demonis stop them by herself? A top-notch saint had already bypassed her and charged towards Bai Minghong. She only blocked a few sages who were slightly weaker than her. This woman is really beautiful. She must be Yang Wu's woman. She actually dared to elope with someone else. I'll take her down and humiliate her. Yang Wu's face will definitely be very good. The top saint rushed over and sneered. This top saint smashed the mace continuously, smashing white-haired Demonis to the ground, making it difficult for her to fight back. She had no choice but to take out the Aurora mirror and shine it on him, making him temporarily lose his vision. She didn't take the opportunity to kill him. Instead, she rushed towards her senior brother at full speed. It just so happened that she saw her senior brother being tortured by that top saint. He was beaten to the point where he couldn't fight back. If it wasn't for the other party intentionally leaving him alive, he would have died without a doubt. "Let go of my senior brother," white-haired Demonis cried out in alarm. She took out the light shadow sword made from divine light stone and slashed out angrily. The other party grabbed Bai Ming Hong and used him to block in front of her. She was so frightened that she quickly changed the direction of her attack. It was also at this moment that a top saint came from behind and slapped her, causing her to vomit blood. "This woman belongs to me." The top saint who came from behind laughed sinisterly. He rushed towards white-haired Demonis and attacked continuously. He didn't give her a chance to fight back and suppressed her. Her strength couldn't fight against a top saint after all. She was soon beaten to the point where her body was covered in injuries. "Such a beautiful woman belongs to me from today onwards," that top saint said with incomparable pride. Just as she was about to be captured, a shocking axe light slashed down from the sky in anger. "How can you touch my Yang family's people?" In addition, another tiger roar sounded. It was as if a white tiger had descended. A voice sounded. "These fellows are seeking their own deaths. All of you die." Chapter 1504. When Yang Ba and Su Chu arrived, those who wanted to kill the white-haired Demonis began to suffer. Yang Ba was the first saint of the Yang family to pass the selection. His fighting strength was astonishing. Even a top saint would not be his opponent. Two of the saints who surrounded the white-haired Demonis were killed by his axe. Su Chu's strength was also astonishing. The power of the tiger aura was shocking. It was not something an ordinary person could compare with. They mainly wanted to save the white-haired Demonis and did not care about Bai Ming Hong's life or death. Bai Ming Hong had already been seriously injured by the other party. Su Chu was just pretending to save him. The top saint made up his mind and shouted, "I'll return him to you." The next moment, he smashed Bai Ming Hong's head and threw his corpse back to Su Chu. Before the corpse could get close to Su Chu, the tiger aura corroded the corpse. "Want to escape? How can it be so easy?" Su Chu did not want to save people, but it did not mean that he did not want to kill. He shouted and pounced out like a tiger. A hungry tiger pounces. Su Chu's speed soared. In an instant, he crossed a few miles and caught up with the top saint. His fist slammed into the back of the top saint who was caught off guard. Puff! Su Chu was the same as Yang Ba. He walked the path of a fierce battle. His fist smashed down. The murderous aura overlapped and broke the top saint's defense, seriously injuring him. So fast, the peak-level saint was in so much pain that he almost fainted. His speed of escape was very fast, but he could not compare to Su Chu. Without hesitation, he raised his saber and slashed back to save himself. Before his saber could touch Su Chu grabbed his arm and tore it off. "Ah!" the top saint screamed. He was in complete despair. The other party was much stronger than him. The top saint could not escape. He was knocked unconscious by Su Chu. "If the patriarch didn't need you alive, I would have killed you now," Su Chu said with a murderous aura. Over the years, with the resources provided by Yang Wu, he had become an expert who could stand on his own. Until now, he had not participated in the selection of the arena. He longed to meet a stronger opponent. It would not be too late to go up then. The battle on Yang Ba's side also ended. After he saved the white-haired Demonis, he did not deal with the people who escaped. There was no need for him to do so. "Senior brother," the white-haired Demonis called out sadly. "We're late," Yang Ba said indifferently. "Did young master tell you to come?" White-haired Demonis asked. "Yes," Yang Ba replied softly. White-haired she-devil didn't say anything else. She silently went to collect Bai Ming Hong's belongings, then followed Yang Ba and Su Chu back to the Yang family's base. Just as white-haired Demonis was about to go see Yang Wu, Yang Ba said, "You don't have to go find Patriarch. He needs to cultivate in seclusion during this period of time." After a pause, he added, "He asked me to pass a message to you." When you've thought it through, you can look for him. White-haired Demonis' body stiffened for a moment, but she didn't say anything. She turned around and returned to her residence. After white-haired Demonis left, Yang Ba and Su Chu took the hostages to see Yang Wu. Are they all right? Yang Wu asked them. It's nothing serious, Yang Ba replied. Did he say anything? No. And let her be. If she can't think it through, then let her be. Yang Wu said with complicated feelings. Letting Bai Ming Hong die was a last resort. He had no obligation to protect an Outer Realm saint, and he didn't want the Yang family to suffer because of him. White-haired Demonis had already pledged her loyalty to him, so it was time to end it. If she couldn't let it go, then he could only let her return to the Outer Realm. If she could, then accept her fate and end everything. How do we deal with this person? Su Chu asked. You guys do as you see fit. Yang Wu waved his hand dispiritedly. No matter what, white-haired Demonis was his confidant. He didn't want her to be sad, but as a leader, he had to do this. Maybe this was the price to pay to become a king. Dao Discussion Banquet. This was a banquet specially held by the War God City Lord. He invited the most outstanding young saints of the 8 great battle clans to participate. War God City was under the jurisdiction of the Xinyuan family, which meant that this banquet was supported by the Xinyuan family. The saints here would be proud to have received an invitation because they only invited 100 people. Among these 100 people, the Yang family received 10 places, which was a large proportion. It was 2 or 3 more places than the Li family, Lu family, and Qin family. This also represented the rise of the Yang family's new generation of saints. These people were Yang Wu, Yang Jinan, Yang Ba, Yang Tianlin, Su Chu, and others. Yang Wu brought his people to participate in this banquet because of Xinyuan Huowu's personal invitation. His father, Yang Jinan, didn't go. He stayed behind to guard the Yang family. The banquet was very lively. In a big watchtower, there were good wine and spirit fruits for the guests to taste. There were also dancers singing and dancing. The atmosphere was very lively. Yang Wu attracted many people's attention after he brought them to the watchtower. Yang Wu's momentum was too ferocious. Vaguely, he was already known as the most powerful young saint. Even in the war race, there was not a single young saint that could compare to him. His immortal appearance was astonishing, and his aura was like a rainbow. It was hard to look at him directly. The female saints all had expressions of adoration when they saw him. They wanted nothing more than to stick to Yang Wu and become Yang Wu's woman. The male saints felt ashamed of their inferiority. Yang Wu suppressed them to the point that they couldn't breathe. They couldn't even look at his back. The Yang family is becoming more and more arrogant. We're all here, but they're late. They don't put the city lord in their eyes at all. Someone said sarcastically. The person sitting at the back of a Xing family was none other than a subsidiary saint of the Xing family. His name was Gao Fushan, and he wasn't considered old among saints. He wasn't even 300 years old, yet he had already reached the 4th level of Astral Rune Realm. City Lord Pan Zhong sat on the main seat. He was a tall, middle-aged man with an imposing aura. He wore a yellow robe with a flood dragon embroidered on it. He had a thumb-sized jade ring on his finger. He looked very noble. He was definitely a powerful man. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become the city lord of War God City. Without waiting for the Yang family to reply, Pan Zhong said, Divine Alchemist Yang Wu coming is already giving me face. There's no need to say anything else. He then said, Divine Alchemist Yang Wu, please take a seat. Pan Zhong didn't call Yang Wu Patriarch. Instead, he called him Divine Alchemist. This was thought-provoking. Yang Wu didn't listen to Pan Zhong and only cupped his hands. He then glanced at Gao Fushan and said, Which family's dog is better tied up? Don't let it out to bark. Otherwise, I don't mind cutting off its head. Yang Wu's words instantly ignited the smell of gunpowder. Yang Wu, what did you say? Say it again if you have the guts. Gao Fushan shouted with a sinister expression. Someone else shouted, Yang Wu, you're too arrogant. This is a banquet. You can't hurt people with your words. Yang Wu, take your men and scram. Don't affect everyone's mood. Someone else said, these people were from the Xing family or the Lu family. They didn't get along with the Yang Wu family. Naturally, they would use this opportunity to attack Yang Wu. Noisy, Yang Wu shouted. The imposing aura on his body erupted like a flood. It rushed towards those people who had spoken just now to suppress them. Pooh! Pooh! Those people only felt a terrifying aura sweeping towards them. Their bodies were instantly sent flying. They spat out mouthfuls of blood. They couldn't resist at all. The others seemed to see a true dragon and a black tortoise appear. They were looking down on the world. The domineering aura of the emperor suppressed them to the point that they couldn't breathe. Divine Apothecary Yang Wu, please give this Pan some face. Pan Zhong shouted. I'm here to give Fire Dance face. If anyone is dissatisfied, I'll see you in the arena. Yang Wu replied coldly. Did the current Yang Wu still need to look at other people's faces? He wasn't a divine apothecary. He was the Yang family's patriarch. He was also an expert who could kill Empyrean experts. He already had the qualifications to sit on the same level as those peak experts in the transcendent world. Although the sages in front of him had an extraordinary status, they were far inferior to him. He was already giving them a lot of face by coming. Yet, they actually dared to provoke him. It could be said that other than overlord-class characters, ordinary Empyrean experts wouldn't be able to order him around. Everyone present felt the powerful pressure from Yang Wu. They could feel his invincible aura. Even if they were dissatisfied, they didn't dare to say a word. City Lord Pan Zhong's face was extremely ugly. He was a peak sage and the lord of a city. He had an extremely high status. Yang Wu didn't give him any face at all. Without waiting for him to speak, Xianyuan Hou stood up and said, Yang Wu, don't be so angry. Some dogs deserve to be beaten. Let's just leave it at that. The sages who were sent flying while vomiting blood instantly felt like dying. They were invited. Shouldn't they be treated equally? Why was Xianyuan Hou so biased? It was fine if she didn't speak up for them, but she even added insult to injury. Looks like this banquet isn't that interesting. Let's go. Someone from the Xing family stood up and said. This person was the most outstanding young sage of the Xing family, Xing Yue. He was one of the top 10 Dragon Kings on the Heavenly Dragon ranking in the same year as Yang Jinghai. Ever since he obtained the position of Dragon King, he had been in hiding. He rarely showed himself in front of others. Not long ago, there was suddenly news about him. He had killed several peak devil race beings in the battle realm before announcing his strong return. This person could also become one of the top 10 young sages of the 8 great battle clans. Someone from the Liu family also stood up and said, Let's go. This is a Dao discussion banquet. It's not a place where anyone can mess around with their strength. If anyone is strong, they can hurt others as they wish. What's the point of having an arena? I feel embarrassed for Pan Zhong. Another person said. Just like that, a small portion of the crowd prepared to leave the banquet. Outside the restaurant, a voice suddenly rang out. This prince has just arrived, and you're already dispersing. You're not giving this prince any face at all. If there's anything you can't talk through, this prince will make the decision for you. Chapter 1505. In the War Tribe, there are not many who call themselves princes. Only a royal family, like the Xianyuan tribe, would call themselves princes. The one who came was the first prince of the Xianyuan tribe, Xianyuan Tianlong. This dragon emperor, who was on the Heavenly Dragon leaderboard 2 years ago, was once a dazzling genius. After more than 100 years, this genius had become extremely dazzling, overshadowing countless geniuses, reaching the pinnacle of the Saint Realm. He was only one step away from the Jade Moon Realm. He wore a golden crown on his head and wore a dragon robe. He strode in with majestic steps, accompanied by 2 beautiful female concubines, appearing dazzling and eye-catching. The 2 concubines beside him were not ordinary people, but 2 top-tier saints. They were very young and were once Phoenix Kings on the Heavenly Phoenix leaderboard. Only such women had the right to be by his side. After Xianyuan Tianlong entered, those who wanted to leave stopped in their tracks. Xing Yuhua cupped his hands and smiled at Xianyuan Tianlong. Long time no see, brother Tianlong. You're even better than before. Yuhua, were you the one who wanted to leave? Tell me what happened. Xianyuan Tianlong looked at Xing Yuhua. He did not look at Pan Zhong, nor did he look at Yang Wu. His arrogance was obvious. Pan Zhong even stood up and gave up the main seat, waiting for Xianyuan Tianlong to take it. Nothing big. Some people are too arrogant. I don't like it, so I don't want to stay. Xing Yuhua said. He paused and said, now that Brother Tianlong is here, some people won't dare to be too arrogant. Let's stay. The others did not have much of an opinion. After all, they followed Xing Yuhua's lead. There aren't many people who dare to be arrogant in front of you, right? Is it Brother Ho Rui or Brother Huayan? Xianyuan Tianlong looked at the leader of the Ho tribe, then at the leader of the Sun tribe. Ho Rui was the strongest saint under the age of 300 in the Ho tribe. He had a cold expression and did not like to talk. His aura was sharp, giving people a sense of alienation. Sun Huayan was the most outstanding saint of the Sun tribe. He was older than Xianyuan Tianlong and was a mature man. His strength was not inferior to Xing Yuhua. Xianyuan Tianlong had mentioned the two of them because, in his opinion, they were the only two people who had the ability to make Xing Yuhua unhappy. Of course, there were a few others in the Xianyuan clan who could do it, but he didn't mention it. Don't spout nonsense. Ho Rui glanced at Xianyuan Tianlong and said coldly. Sun Huayan took a big gulp of wine and said with a smile, Patriarch Yang Wu is here. It's not our turn to bully people, huh? Yang Wu raised his wine cup and gestured to Xianyuan Huowu. Then he downed the entire cup in one gulp. After Xianyuan Huowu replied with a toast, she looked at Xianyuan Tianlong and couldn't help but laugh. First Imperial brother, your style is really grand. Really? My style seems to be a little lacking compared to this person. How dare he be so rude to me? You must be the legendary youngest divine apothecary in history, Yang Wu. Xianyuan Tianlong's gaze finally landed on Yang Wu. Yang Wu ignored Xianyuan Tianlong and shouted, Didn't you say you wanted to spar? If you're not going to start, we'll go back. The so-called Tao discussion wine banquet wasn't really a discussion of the Tao. It was just a way for people to get to know each other and make friends. Yang Wu didn't come here to cause trouble, but he also didn't come here to be bullied. Divine Apothecary Yang Wu, I really don't know how you became the patriarch of the Yang clan. You're so arrogant, and you're making enemies everywhere. You'll only harm the Yang clan. Pan Zhong said sincerely. Then, he continued, I think you should apologize to the first Imperial Prince and everyone else. Then, we'll let this matter pass. How about that? If he's willing to apologize, that's the best. Someone agreed. That's right. Such a good banquet was ruined by him. Your Highness, please uphold justice. Another person said. Yang Wu didn't say anything. He only had a cold smile on his face. In his eyes, these people were just clowns. Xianyuan Tianlong was also annoyed by Yang Wu's attitude. However, he remained calm and said, Yang Wu, don't you have anything to say? Yang Wu drank another cup of wine and stood up. He looked straight at Xianyuan Tianlong and said, First Imperial Prince, what do you want me to say? Xianyuan Tianlong was stunned. How many years had it been since someone dared to speak to him like that? Without waiting for him to reply, Yang Wu said loudly, I came to this banquet to give Huowu face. I didn't want to make things difficult for her. However, a dog barked at me the moment I arrived. If I don't kill it, others will think that the Yang clan is easy to bully. Furthermore, don't you know that the Yang clan and the Xing clan are sworn enemies? After a pause, he continued, I, Yang Wu, am not a pushover. The Yang clan isn't the same as before. We're not people you can bully as you wish. If anyone wants to make things difficult for us, you should consider whether you can withstand my anger. The Yang clan rose again, not because of your charity, but because I, Yang Wu. Let it. If you give me face, I'll give you face. If you don't give me face, I'll smash your faces. What a big tone, Xing Yuhua shouted. He continued, This is the first Imperial Prince's banquet. Let's not talk about the grudges between the Xing and Yang clans. You're not giving the first Imperial Prince any face. Don't tell me you dare to slap his face. His intentions were clear. He directly diverted Yang Wu's attention to the first Imperial Prince. If that's what you think, it's not impossible. Yang Wu didn't care. Since you're so confident, Yang Wu, why don't I ask you first? A saint from the Xianyuan clan stood up and shouted, I don't deserve to ask our clan leader. I'll do it. Yang Ba stood up and replied, Sit down. If you're going to ask me questions, why don't you all accompany me to the arena? It'll save time and effort. Yang Wu shouted at Yang Ba. I can't take it anymore. Yang Wu, I want to go to the arena and challenge you. A saint shouted. That's right. He's too arrogant. I can't take it anymore. There's no point in arguing like this. It seems like this banquet is going to be ruined. Xinyuan Tianlong sighed. After a pause, he looked at Yang Wu and said, How about this? Yang Wu, let's compete in the martial saint assembly. Whoever ranks higher will prove that he or she is stronger. If your ranking is higher than mine, I'll forget about what happened today. If your ranking is lower than mine, you'll be the divine medicine master of the Xinyuan clan. How about that? Don't worry, I won't ask you to stay in the Xinyuan clan forever. You'll still be the clan leader of the Yang clan. You just have to be in the Xinyuan clan in name. When Xinyuan Tianlong said that, everyone was stunned. Who would have thought that Xinyuan Tianlong would use such a method to resolve this argument? Letting Yang Wu be the Xinyuan clan's divine medicine master didn't seem like they would lose anything. However, if Yang Wu was the clan leader of the Yang clan, wouldn't that mean that the Yang clan would become the Xinyuan clan's vassal? All right, I think Brother Tianlong's suggestion is good. Xing Yuhua smiled. Then someone else said, I think it's feasible too. We'll use the ranking to decide who's vassal. It's fair and just. What a joke. Your Highness, your words are a joke. Yang Wu's ranking is higher than yours. If he loses, he'll be your divine medicine master. How can you say something like that? Do you think we're all idiots? Sun Huayan said, Brother Huayan, it's best if you don't get involved in this. Xinyuan Tianlong warned. Humph. Then let's hear what Yang Wu has to say. Sun Huayan snorted coldly. Haha, are you an idiot? Yang Wu looked at Xinyuan Tianlong and laughed. How dare you? The Xinyuan clan's people were furious. Yang Wu was getting more and more impudent. Xinyuan Tianlong and the two beauties beside him had ugly expressions. Do you know what happened from the beginning to the end? It's not a problem if you want me to be your divine medicine master. But you definitely won't use this as a wager. Even if it's easy for me to beat you, I won't use the Yang clan's reputation as a wager. Unless you lose and are willing to be my follower, that's more likely. Yang Wu replied domineeringly. Then he said, If you really want to trample on me, we can fight on the stage tomorrow. Let's go. Humiliating the first prince is equivalent to humiliating our Xianyuan clan. How can you leave just like that? Pan Zhong shouted, Protector, where are you? Take them down. As Pan Zhong's voice fell, a heavenly energy enveloped Yang Wu and the Yang clan's people. Xinyuan Huowu said, Yang Wu was invited by me. Who dares to touch him? Her order didn't carry much weight. The energy swept towards Yang Wu's group. Yang Wu ignored the energy. The true dragon and black tortoise's energy burst out from his body and forcefully dispersed the energy. He shouted, Attack again and you'll die. As his voice fell, an eagle's claw furiously clawed at him. Its speed and power were incomparably shocking. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Yang Wu shouted. His body rushed out like a dragon. His fist turned into a dragon and violently punched the eagle's claw. Bang! The true dragon tore the eagle's claw apart and continued to sweep outwards. The tyrannical energy forcefully tore apart the wine tower. The saints present were forced to soar into the sky and quickly escape from this place. The divine medicine master who attacked didn't expect Yang Wu to be able to locate him. Facing Yang Wu's dragon fist, he once again struck out with his claw, wanting to tear the true dragon apart. The true dragon was crushed by the eagle's claw. It's no wonder you're so arrogant when you're only in the Star Rune realm. However, you're still far from being able to resist the divine medicine master. The divine medicine master said in the sky. Just as he finished speaking, a palm furiously slapped out from the void. Bang! Is the divine medicine master that great? I'll slap you to death. Bang! Who gave you the guts to provoke me? You're really reckless. Bang! You think you're worthy of being called the divine medicine master with your little strength? You might as well kill yourself with a piece of tofu. Chapter 1506. The reason why Jade Moon Realm warriors were commonly known as heaven-piercing was because they had the ability to reach the heavens. They could pick the stars and the moon with their bare hands, overturn rivers and seas, and their strength could shake the heavens. Such warriors were considered to be among the strongest in the transcendent realm. Such a person overseeing any city would be like a stabilizing needle. No one would easily anger such a strong warrior. Who knew that not only did Yang Wu anger such a strong warrior, he even beat him up like a dog. This was too arrogant, too crazy. Everyone's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when they saw this scene. Without waiting for them to regain their senses, Crown Prince Xianyuan Tianlong rushed out like a dragon and shouted, "Yang Wu, how dare you!" Great Dragon Palm. Heavenly Dragon Xianyuan is like a high and mighty true dragon. He blasted out a huge dragon and roared furiously at Yang Wu. Since Xianyuan Tianlong dared to interfere in a battle between heaven-piercing realm warriors, it could be seen how confident he was. Yang Wu felt Xianyuan Tianlong's attack and grabbed the heaven-piercing realm warrior that he beat up and threw him towards Xianyuan Tianlong's attack. Bang! That heaven-piercing realm warrior was swallowed by the huge dragon and was sent flying while spitting out blood. Xianyuan Tianlong was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. He roared, "Yang Wu, do you really think this is your Yang clan? You really don't put this prince in your eyes." Yang Wu calmly looked at Xianyuan Tianlong and said, "This is War God City controlled by the 8 clans." Xianyuan Tianlong was rendered speechless by Yang Wu's words. The others did not dare to speak. Yang Wu's battle prowess was too terrifying. Even heaven-piercing realm warriors were beaten up like dogs. Who would dare to challenge him? "All right, Yang Wu, I will challenge you at the Martial Saint Assembly." After Xianyuan Tianlong said those words, he did not want to stay any longer and turned to leave. After being slapped in the face by Yang Wu, he did not dare to attack Yang Wu. He could not take this lying down. It was not that he did not dare to fight Yang Wu head-on, but he did not want to reveal his current strength too early. He wanted to keep a low profile. The Martial Saint Assembly would be his time to shine. "Yang Wu, just you wait. This prince will teach you a lesson." Xianyuan Tianlong swore in his heart. No one would have thought that Xianyuan Tianlong would take the initiative to leave first. He was the organizer of the Tao discussion. As the Tao discussion ended before it even started, Sun Huayan gave a thumbs up to Yang Wu. Yang Wu looked at Sun Huayan and said, "You're bullying me. I'm just resisting." Then he looked at Xianyuan Wu and said, "I'm sorry. You shouldn't have invited me. That's what I thought just now. Now, I feel that inviting you was a wise choice." "Ha!" Xianyuan Wu laughed beautifully. "Why do you say that?" Yang Wu was puzzled. I can't say. In any case, I have no intention of using you." Xianyuan Wu waved her hand and said. Yang Wu laughed and said, "It doesn't matter whether you're using me or not." Then he said, "Since the banquet has already started, let's just go all out and have a drink." Yang Wu, welcome everyone to drink. All the money for the drinks will be on my tab." These days, the Yang clan had sold a large number of divine pills. Their income was plentiful. It was easy to treat someone to a meal. The surrounding saints did not dare to say anything. They were afraid that standing on Yang Wu's side would cause Xianyuan Tianlong to be dissatisfied. Sun Huayan also shouted, "It's rare for Patriarch Yang Wu to treat us. If we miss this opportunity, we won't have another chance." "That's right. Count me in. I've heard a lot about Divine Apothecary Yang Wu." Someone immediately responded, "I'm the best at eating and drinking for free. I can't let down Divine Apothecary Yang Wu's generosity." One after another, the saints shouted and rushed over, willing to have a drink with Yang Wu. Some of these people were rogue cultivators. Some were from the Battle Clan. They were willing to stand with Yang Wu purely because they admired Yang Wu's character. They did not want to be enemies with Xianyuan Tianlong. Of course, even if they were enemies, they would not be afraid. Those who could cultivate to the Star Rune realm were not cowards. As more and more people joined in, the atmosphere of the scene became more intense. Xianyuan Tianlong, who left, was not as angry as expected. He landed on a mountain with the injured Divine Master. He asked the Divine Master, "Can you feel how strong his foundation is?" The Divine Master shook his head and said, I can't see through him at all. He's at least at the third level of the Jade Moon Realm. The third level of the Jade Moon Realm. That's a huge leap. Xinyuan Tianlong said with his hands behind his back. Do you want me to test him again? I don't believe he's that strong. The Divine Master said. Xinyuan Tianlong waved his hand and said, There's no need. There will be people more anxious than us. He paused and said coldly, Showing off too much might not be a good thing. That's right. The Xing clan will not let him go. The Xing clan has wanted to kill him for a long time. Without an overlord, they won't be able to kill him. One overlord might not be enough. Rumor has it that he has an overlord protecting him. He's not easy to deal with. The Xing clan's atmosphere was not very good. The Xing and Yang clans were like fire and water. The stronger Yang Wu was, the more pressure they felt. With the speed of Yang Wu's rise, he would be able to fight an overlord in less than 100 years. When that time came, the Xing clan would not be able to resist Yang Wu. No, I have to kill Yang Wu. I have to kill him. If this drags on, the Xing clan will be destroyed by him. Xing Yuhua thought to himself. Even though he wanted to kill a tiger, he did not have the strength to do so. Unless he used the Xing clan's many years of accumulation, Yang Wu would not be easy to kill. Yuhua, against Yang Wu, you can only use your wits. Don't use brute force. Xing Sherman appeared beside Xing Yuhua and said. Xing Yuhua looked at Xing Sherman with disgust and said, If you have something to say, then say it. Xing Sherman was famous for her beauty, but she was not very popular in the Xing clan. If it wasn't for her talent, she would have been dealt with many times. Bai Minghong has already been killed. The North Devil Island will not let Yang Wu go. Even our Xing clan can't deal with Yang Wu. The North Devil Island is so far away. How can we deal with Yang Wu? Is your brain damaged? The Northern Devil Island wants to snatch some slots from our side to enter the Martial Saint Assembly. They have already sent quite a number of people over. Among them, there are also Tong Tian escorting them. We can make use of Bai Minghong and Yun Qi's matter to light a fuse for them. What we need to do now is to lure away the Overlord-class Guardian beside Yang Wu. Xing Yuhua raised his eyebrows and said, Are you sure this will work? Of course, we have to plan it slowly. At least, not in the near future. We have to let the North Devil Island taste the sweetness and encourage their ambitions. Then, we can lure them in. They're not idiots. They will definitely want benefits. How do we give them these benefits? We have to convince the people in the clan. So, I need your help. Xing Sherman said with a cunning expression. Okay, I think they're more anxious than us. Xing Yuhua replied straightforwardly. After the banquet ended, Yang Wu and Xianyuan Hu walked alone on the official road of War God City. This was the second time they walked like this in War God City. The first time was more than 20 years ago. At that time, there were still young men and women who had just entered the War God Pagoda. Now, they were still the same, but they were even more outstanding. Little Wu, why do you have to be so ostentatious? This is not good for your Yang clan. Xianyuan Hu put her hands behind her back and lightly bounced. Right now, she was like an innocent and beautiful girl. No matter from which angle, her beauty was soul-stirring. Yang Wu looked at her and said, When have you seen me being ostentatious? It's just some people who overestimate themselves. They think that our Yang clan is still the Yang clan of the past and will tolerate everything. I want to wake them up. He paused for a moment and said, Even if I don't do it, won't they go along with it? They're the kind of people who won't give up until their noses are rubbed in the dirt. So, you want to let them know that your Yang clan is not to be trifled with. Whoever provokes, you will have to pay the price. Yes. Then have you ever thought that if you keep a low profile and tolerate everything, then shock everyone with a single brilliant feat in the end and beat them all into pig heads? Wouldn't that be even better? A handsome man like me is like the light of a firefly, no matter where I go, shining brightly and unstoppable. How can I keep a low profile? Ugh. Yang Wu and Xianyuan Hu chatted very naturally. The two of them were old friends, and no matter what they said, there was no barrier between them. As the two of them chatted, they talked about the Thousand Saints Assembly. The Thousand Saints Assembly is a gathering of all living beings. I heard that there will be some living beings from outside the realm participating as well. The competition is extremely fierce. Only those who enter the top 1,000 will have the right to be selected to enter the immortal realm. This kind of opportunity is extremely rare. Don't let it go, Xianyuan Huowu said solemnly. What living beings from outside the realm? They're just living beings from other realms in the human realm. Yang Wu said disapprovingly. If it was in the past, he might have been surprised. But now, he was not surprised at all. The human realm was divided into 81 realms, and the transcendent realm was at the bottom. He was very clear about this. You know, Xianyuan Huowu said in surprise. This kind of thing was a secret of the transcendent realm. It was not something that an ordinary person would know. And man, I know a little about it. Yang Wu did not want to talk too much about this matter. Then, he said to Xianyuan Huowu, the stage of the Thousand Saints Assembly. How about we climb to the top together? Xianyuan Huowu's face was like a flower as she smiled and said, then let's climb to the top together. Chapter 1507. The Martial Saint Assembly selection was intense and varied. As time passed, powerful saints from all over the world finally appeared one after another. For example, there was monk Jin Xiu from the Hidden Realm. He was the most powerful martial saint among the rising stars. Another example was the moon worship sect from the Dian world. A goddess appeared and oversaw the arena. For 7 days and 7 nights, no one dared to challenge her. She was an incomparably beautiful woman. Another example was Tang Xiaohan, the disciple of the Amei sect from the Chuandu world. She killed so many people that no one dared to challenge her. There was also the only giant power in the Shushan world. A sword immortal appeared in Shushan. One person could control 3,000 swords. When all 3,000 swords were unleashed, 10,000 saints were invincible. These powerful martial saints all made people look at them in a new light. No one dared to underestimate them. However, these were not the most dazzling. The most dazzling was a demon son from the king of Hell Realm. This boy was only a teenager, but he had the power to overturn rivers and seas. The powerful saints who had exchanged blows with him were all killed by him with a single punch. He was known as the Demon's Son and was the target of the king of Hell Palace's attention. There were also rumors that he came from the Yama Palace and was the son of the Yama King. Whether this was true or not, no one knew. This demonic son was astonishing, but there were also divine sons who were equally stunning. A divine son suddenly appeared in the War Clan world. He seemed to be related to the Yang family. He stepped onto the arena at a young age. He did not even use his saint power, but he won 10 consecutive battles. His name was Yang Zixing. Many people guessed that this divine son might be a resurrected ancestor of the Yang family. That was why he had such a name. In addition to these two, there was also the little demoness from the Heavenly Palace, Nan Nan. She was equally stunning. She had no opponent in her hands and successfully obtained the qualifications to enter the Martial Saint Assembly. Many people recognized her origin. She was Hao Ren's disciple and Yang Wu's junior sister. The true dragon she rode was too dazzling. Now, she had the title of the strongest woman in the younger generation. In addition, Yang Wu's disciples, Ai Sha and Xue Xiaofan, had both returned from cultivating outside. Both of them had broken through to Saint tier. However, only Xue Xiaofan had managed to obtain a spot after a series of tough battles. Ai Sha had made great progress, but unfortunately, she had been defeated in the 6th round. Ai Sha was incomparably depressed. She had failed to live up to her master's expectations of her. Now, she was kneeling in front of her master's house, begging for forgiveness. Xue Xiaofan wasn't much better off. His entire body was bandaged with wounds, and his appearance was miserable. Obviously, he'd gone through a thrilling battle and was lucky enough to obtain a spot. Master, this disciple has embarrassed you, Ai Sha said with tears streaming down her face. Ever since she'd been deceived by Hua Su, she seemed to have matured a lot. In these 10 years, she'd cultivated with all her might, creating the name Beautiful Sand Snake. However, the time she'd cultivated was still short. Being able to break through to the celestial rune realm by luck was already due to Yang Wu laying down a good foundation for her. Otherwise, how could it be so easy to break through to this step? Those geniuses of the major powers were already quite amazing to be able to break through to the celestial rune realm within 100 years. Aisha and Xue Xiaofan were both very young. They were saints who hadn't even reached 100 years of age. They were both dazzling rising stars in the transcendent realm. Yang Wu walked out and helped Aisha up. He smiled and said, "You didn't embarrass your master. Instead, you've greatly increased my reputation. Don't cry anymore. Your master still has to reward you." Master? A look of panic flashed across Aisha's face. She felt that her master was being sarcastic. Yang Wu lightly patted her shoulder and said earnestly, "Letting you break through to the celestial rune realm within 10 years is indeed your master's wish. Whether or not you can enter the martial saint assembly isn't the most important thing. I just want you to know that some things aren't impossible. It just depends on whether or not you're willing to work hard to do it. In these 10 years, you've gone out to temper yourselves. I believe that you've all reaped great benefits." Aisha stared blankly for a while before crying even harder. "Many thanks for master's nurturing." Xue Xiaofan also bowed. He was incomparably grateful to Yang Wu in his heart. For him to be where he was today, it was indeed inseparable from Yang Wu's nurturing. From now on, you two have the qualifications to establish your own sections, Yang Wu announced. He didn't have high expectations for these two disciples. They had already done very well and didn't disappoint him. He felt very happy. Disciple wants to always stay by master's side, the two said in unison. Yang Wu didn't force them. They had already become saints, so they had the qualifications to do some things that they liked. He said to Xue Xiaofan, "Xiaofan, you must not be careless in the martial saint assembly. Don't force yourself. Everything you do is to protect your life. Master doesn't need you to fight for any ranking. You could spend more time on refining." "All right. Master heard that you've already become a saint artifact master." "Yes, master. I know what to do," Xue Xiaofan said calmly. Now, Xue Xiaofan had already become a saint artifact master. However, not many people knew about it. Yang Wu didn't want him to attract too much attention. There were too many people watching them. After Yang Wu sent away these two disciples, it was finally his turn to go on stage. Now, all the saints of the Yang clan had gone on stage. Half of them had obtained the qualifications to enter the martial saint assembly. The other half was too inexperienced and lost by luck. There were also a few who were killed by their enemies. In general, the Yang clan had shone brightly in the martial saint assembly. They were much stronger than before. Rising stars like Yang Jinnan, Yang Ba, and Yang Tianlin had all entered the martial saint assembly. Older generation saints like Yang Chaohui and Yang Songhua had also entered the martial saint assembly without any accidents. Now, Yang Wu was the only one left in the Yang clan who hadn't gone through the selection. In War God City, who didn't know about Yang Wu's abnormal strength. He could definitely be selected as a seated participant. He didn't need to go on stage. However, until now, no power had announced that Yang Wu was a seated participant. Only the Xinyuan clan had the qualifications to do so. After all, they represented the strongest clan in the War Clan realm. Yang Wu didn't care about this. With his strength, why would he be afraid that he wouldn't be able to pass the selection? However, there were still some people who didn't know their own strength. They wanted to defeat Yang Wu here. News of Yang Wu going on stage instantly swept through War God City. Yang Wu is going on stage. Yang Wu is going on stage. Whoever dares to go on stage and challenge Yang Wu, I'm willing to pay 10,000 high-grade Saint Stones as encouragement. Whoever can defeat Yang Wu, I'll give all my wealth to him. I don't think anyone will go up and challenge him. They're just asking to be humiliated. The title of the #1 saint in the War God realm belongs to none other than him. After Yang Wu thrashed the Xinyuan clan's Tong Tian in front of everyone, his fierce reputation spread. Even if this matter didn't happen, Yang Wu's fame had already spread to every corner of the transcendent realm. However, it wasn't as impactful as seeing it with one's own eyes. After Yang Wu went on stage, all the challenges stopped. Yang Wu was the brightest star. No one could suppress his sharpness. Everyone wanted to see what this divine alchemist, who had the potential to become the #1 saint of the war god realm, looked like. When those women saw Yang Wu, they were all mesmerized. Yang Wu first obtained the innate embryo body. Then, he tempered his body multiple times. Moreover, he awakened the power of his immortal roots. He could be said to be the son of immortals. A formless, immortal qi enveloped his body, giving him boundless charm. Both men and women would greet him when they saw him. What a good son of immortals. After Yang Wu went on stage, he didn't say anything. He directly sat cross-legged on the stage and waited for the challengers to come on stage. Even he himself felt that no one would come up to challenge him. With his reputation, anyone who came up to challenge him would have to be crazy. However, it was still beyond his expectations. He had only been sitting quietly for a while when a female saint rushed over. This female saint's looks were not bad. She was tall and slender. It was just that her chest was a little flat. Otherwise, she would be a woman pursued by many men. Divine Alchemist Yang Wu, my name is Ruru. I wonder if you can teach me a thing or two. This female saint said delicately. When she spoke, her face became rosy. Her delicate appearance was indeed too beautiful to behold. This female saint called Ruru wasn't very strong. She was only at the 3rd level of the Star Rune realm. She didn't come on stage to fight with Yang Wu. She called it a challenge, but in reality, she wanted to know more about Yang Wu. If she could attract his attention and have some kind of relationship with him, that would be her most extravagant wish. Yang Wu looked at this female saint and smiled faintly. You can go down. You're not my match. I know I'm not your match. I just want to ask for your guidance. Is that okay? I beg you. Saint Ruru said with a sincere gaze. Yang Wu met her gaze and softened. He replied, all right, what do you want me to teach you? How about you give me some pointers on this set of battle skills? Ruru replied. She raised her battle sword and danced on stage. Her set of sword skills was very beautiful. Every movement was like moving clouds and flowing water. Her slender waist twisted like a spirit snake. Sword flowers interweaved to form a unique, small world. It looked very beautiful. The men below the ring stared blankly at her. This wasn't a set of battle skills with powerful killing power. Instead, it was more like a set of sword skills for performance. Yang Wu seriously looked at this set of sword skills. He still had a pensive look on his face. Ruru stopped and asked, Divine Alchemist Yang Wu, please give me some pointers. Yang Wu said in a deep voice, this set of sword skills is not bad, but there are a few places where it is not connected well. Look at this move. Just now, your head and tail were not connected well. In this move, when you swung your sword back, it was not in place. Also, this step, it seems a bit rushed. Ruru seriously looked at Yang Wu's every move. She was instantly stunned. Her set of sword skills was called Sword Dance. It looked like a set of sword skills prepared for performance, but it was actually very powerful. Once she used her full strength, not many people at the same level could block it. She used it once and thought it was a perfect set of sword skills. She just wanted to show off in front of Yang Wu. She didn't expect Yang Wu to really give her pointers. Do you understand? Yang Wu stopped and asked. Ruru came back to her senses and bowed. She sincerely said, Thank you for the guidance, Divine Alchemist Yang Wu. Chapter 1508. After Ruru received his guidance, she used 2 battle techniques consecutively. Yang Wu continued to guide her patiently. She finally admitted defeat in satisfaction and came down from the arena. After that, the other female sages rushed up like crazy. Clan leader Yang Wu, how about you give me some pointers? What do you think of my move, High Peaks and Snow Hills? Handsome Yang Wu, you have to give me some pointers too. I love dancing the most. I'll show you a dance. You'll definitely like it. Yang Wu, I like you. Can you give me some pointers too? In the beginning, Yang Wu was still patiently guiding these women. However, he soon realized that something was wrong. They weren't here for the guidance at all, but for him. Therefore, he did not dare to be courteous and invited them down from the arena one by one. Just like that, he won 10 rounds and became the last candidate of the Yang clan to participate in the Martial Sage Assembly. After Yang Wu obtained the qualifications, he returned to the Yang clan's residence and led the team back to the Yang clan to wait for the martial sage assembly to begin. There were still 3 months before the selection would end completely. After the selection, the martial sage assembly would begin in another month. Taking advantage of this time, Yang Wu still needed to increase the strength of his clansmen who could participate in the martial sage assembly. The martial sage assembly was different from the selection assembly. There were 10,000 sages from various realms. There were a total of 108 realms. 180,000 sages would enter one of the battlegrounds at the same time for the final selection. After Yang Wu returned to the Yang clan, he began to refine pills like crazy. He prepared enough pills for his clan sages. Some were for healing, some were for emergencies, and some were for increasing their strength. He had to help them have a higher chance of survival when the martial sage assembly was held. People would die in every martial sage assembly. It was not something that one could easily obtain the title of martial sage. Out of the 180,000 sages, only 10,000 had the qualifications to become martial sage and participate in the 1,000 sage assembly. In the 1,000 sage assembly, only 1,000 sages could be selected to enter the God realm and become the chosen child. Many saints yearned to enter the God realm. They yearned for a higher level world with more cultivation resources and endless life. Yang Wu didn't really want to go to the God realm, but for the sake of Violet Yu, he had to go there. Little Hay might be there as well. There were many things that could happen in the God realm, and perhaps the world would become even more interesting. Yang Wu refined furnace after furnace of saint pills. His speed was so fast that it made people speechless. Dan Long, Bao Meili, and the others who were lucky enough to watch from the side were all dumbfounded. In these 10 years, the two of them had become saint alchemists. They were the Yang clan's most important pillar of support, and they were also the main figures in the Alchemist Alliance's branch. If I can have a third of the Patriarch's alchemy skills in this lifetime, I can die without regrets. Dan Long sighed. Bao Meili also nodded and said, "Our Lord is unparalleled in the world. Ordinary people can't compare to him." After Yang Wu finished refining the pills, he distributed them one by one. He also left a portion for the clan as a reward. After doing all this, he entered the Medicine God's Hall to see his senior brother, Xiang Dingtian. All these years, Xiang Dingtian had been cultivating in the Medicine God's Hall, mainly to break through to the alchemy realm. In these 10 years, he had gained a lot. The Divine Tower in the Medicine God's Hall contained many alchemy techniques and high-level pill recipes that he had never seen before. He had gained a lot. "Senior brother, which level have you reached?" Yang Wu asked when he saw Xiang Dingtian. The Medicine God's Pagoda had a total of 33 levels, and each level contained a different universe. Xiang Dingtian smiled and said, "I reached the 29th level by luck." Yang Wu gave him a thumbs up and praised, "Senior brother, you've improved so quickly." Yang Wu's alchemy skills were not inferior to Xiang Dingtian's, but he had only reached the 26th level. Looking down on the difference of 3 levels, it could be the difference of 1 or 2 levels. If I don't break through to the Nine Suns realm, I won't be able to reach the 30th level. I should go out. Xiang Dingtian sighed. After a pause, he said gratefully to Yang Wu, "Junior brother, thank you." "Senior brother, what are you talking about?" Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "You should know that as long as you are recognized by the Divine Tower, you will have the opportunity to become a disciple of the Medicine God's Hall. When I reach the realm of the gods, I can go to the Medicine God's Hall to verify my identity. This also means that we have a place to stay in the realm of the gods. We won't have to worry about being attacked. This is equivalent to having a life-saving talisman." Xiang Dingtian said solemnly, "Yes, I know that. However, I don't know if there is a Medicine God's Hall in the realm of the gods." Yang Wu said disapprovingly. He then said, "The martial sage assembly is about to begin. Senior brother, don't you need to go out and preside over it? Naturally, someone will take care of this matter. However, it is time for me to go back and make the final preparations. Senior brother, you plan to go to the realm of the gods. That's inevitable. There's no point in staying here anymore. Then what about the Apothecary Alliance? Don't worry. I will make it the only Apothecary Alliance in the Transcendent Realm before leaving. Yang Wu didn't enter the Medicine God's Hall simply to catch up with Xiangding Tian. He also wanted to find Qiu Long. Qiu Long was the Earth Dragon. After meeting Yang Wu, his cultivation level had increased to the mid-level Immortal Realm. In the next few years, he would be competing in the Martial Sage Assembly and the Sage Assembly. He didn't have much time to take care of the Yang clan. He felt that the protection of the Crow army wasn't enough. He also needed the help of Qiu Long and the other monsters here. Over the years, Yang Wu had asked Qiu Long to gather some monsters. Whoever was willing to help him, he would give them a demon god pill. Qiu Long had been lobbying everywhere in this space. Finally, he managed to convince 4 Immortal Realm monsters to come and protect the Yang clan for 100 years. One was a silver ring snake, one was a broken back bear, one was a 1,000-foot tiger, and one was a divine flying crane. They were all monsters that had been trapped in this space for a long time. After countless years, they grew into demon gods. There were many spiritual items in this space that could help them grow. However, they were also trapped here. They wanted to see the outside world, but couldn't. They had long wanted to go out and take a look. Quickly greet the master. Qiu Long saw Yang Wu descend and shouted to the other demon gods. The 4 demon gods appeared in their true forms. Their huge bodies emitted dense demon qi. This demon qi swept towards Yang Wu. They wanted to intimidate Yang Wu. The snake demons said, "Let's see if you have the right to be our master." The bear demons said, "That's right. You look so weak. You're not even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. How can you be our master?" As soon as they finished speaking, a huge black walk smashed towards them. Yang Wu activated his immortal qi. The power of the black walk was shocking. It was like a mountain smashing down. Before they could react, they were smashed by the power of the black walk. They spat out blood and rolled away. "This is my territory. Naturally, I'm your master. I told you to do something, and you still dare to complain. Do you believe that I won't kill you right now?" Yang Wu looked down from above and said in an awe-inspiring, immortal qi. The demon gods roared. They were once afraid of the Saint Do tribe. Now, they definitely wouldn't be afraid of Yang Wu. Just now, Yang Wu had succeeded in sneak attacking them. Just as they were about to attack Yang Wu, the Black Walk turned into a huge crow and attacked them again. The Black Walk was a divine weapon that could attack and defend. Only immortal qi could release its strongest power. These monsters were in for a tragedy. After being smashed by the Black Walk a few times, their heads were bleeding and their bones were broken. Only then did they know how to beg for mercy. Qiu Long gloated from the side. "Who told you to be so arrogant? Now, you're going to suffer. You didn't listen to me, so you're going to suffer. Do you submit or not?" Yang Wu asked coldly. The demon gods didn't have any more objections. They all expressed their submission. "You know what's good for you. I'll give you healing pills that can help you recover quickly. There are also demon god pills that can help you increase your strength. As long as you stay in the Yang family for 100 years, you can get them." Yang Wu first gave them a few healing pills. Then he took out the demon god pills and waved them in front of them. The medicinal fragrance of the demon god pills spread everywhere. Just by smelling it, they would know whether the demon god pills were real or fake. They all revealed looks of desire. They all kowtowed and said, "We will definitely be loyal to Master." In front of absolute power, they had no choice but to lower their heads. Moreover, there were such tempting pills. 100 years in exchange for one realm was enough. Yang Wu brought them and a batch of herbs and left this place, returning to the Yang family's territory. He didn't let them stay in the Yang family directly. Instead, he let them guard different places, becoming one of the Yang family's guardian gods. "Qiu Long, you guard the Yang family. You can contact them at any time. Snake Demon guard the east, Bear Demon guard the south, Tiger Demon guard the west, and Crane Demon guard the north. Each of you has your own territory. You can't hurt the local people. You can do whatever you want to the other living beings. If my Yang family is in trouble, you must help with all your strength. You can't be negligent. Those who disobey will be killed," Yang Wu ordered. The 5 demon gods gave their orders and flew towards their respective positions. With these demon gods, Yang Wu was more at ease. He didn't know what would happen in the future. He had to plan first and take precautions. No matter if it's the demon fetus or the divine fetus, my Yang family has to take care of itself, Yang Wu said to himself. He brought Xiaolong back to the Yang family. Xiaolong had met his mother, Su Romei. Xiaolong had helped her improve the soil of the herb garden many times. This time, Su Romei was the happiest when Xiaolong returned. Xiaolong is back. Come and loosen the soil for me. If others heard Su Romei's words, they would be shocked. Only she could use a god-tier demon beast to loosen the soil so casually. Yes, madam. Xiaolong didn't have any objections. This was his talent. He replied and burrowed into the soil. The selection of the Martial Sage Conference finally ended. The curtains of the conference finally opened. Chapter 1509. The Martial Saint Assembly was held once every 1,000 years. After every 1,000 years, capable people would appear in large numbers and the sacred stars would shine. The saints of various major forces would appear one after another. Even some saints who had hidden themselves away from the world would come out of the mountains to compete for the title of Martial Saint that would only appear once every 1,000 years. Martial Saint represented the king among saints. All of them had the ability to fight above their level. They were invincible existences among saints. As long as they had the title of Martial Saint, they could do whatever they wanted in the transcendent world. They could obtain the respect of any force and be treated with respect. Even Jade Moon Realm experts would think highly of them. Over the years, as long as those martial saints did not die, they would enter the Jade Moon Realm. This time, the Martial Saint Assembly would be held in an ancient battlefield. That ancient battlefield was located in the smallest realm of the transcendent world. It was called the End World. The End World was a realm located at the center of the transcendent world. It was an incomparably mystical realm. The area it occupied was only the size of a city, but in reality, it was filled with layers of space. It was called a realm that connected to other realms. This realm was once an ancient battlefield. After the human realm was shattered, it was left behind. It was filled with danger and was not a place where ordinary creatures could stay. This time, the Martial Saint Assembly would enter the ancient battlefield to determine the final 10,000 martial saints. There was only one requirement, and that was whoever remained in the final 10,000 would become a martial saint. The longer one stayed, the higher one's ranking would be. Some people might think that as long as they found a place to hide until the end of the battle, wouldn't they be able to obtain the title of champion? If that was the case, then they would be gravely mistaken. There were a few terrifying creatures left behind in this ancient battlefield. There were a few descendants, ancient seeds, and even some incomparably bloodthirsty creatures. No matter where one hid, they would be discovered. No one could escape their detection. After the Divine Divination Tower and many other forces jointly announced the rules of this Martial Saint Assembly, many saints who could enter the Martial Saint Assembly flew towards the End World. There were war chariots flying high in the sky, battleships flying past, and shuttles shuttling back and forth. Some forces' banners were fluttering, and some experts released their powerful auras, forming a grand scene. Saints from different realms were all rushing at full speed. Along the way, some saints could not help but clash. Before they reached the End World, many bloody incidents had already occurred. If he could reduce the number of opponents along the way, why not? On the Yang family's side, Yang Wu and his group also set out. The Yang clan used a battleship, and all the sages who could participate in the Martial Sage Assembly traveled on this battleship. Yang Wu, Yang Jinan, Yang Ba, and the others were all on the warship. In addition, Nan Nan and Yang Zixin were also there. They wanted to act on their own, but after being scolded by Yang Wu, they obediently followed. They were not afraid of anything except Yang Wu. In their eyes, only Yang Wu could suppress them. Nan Nan had already completely grown up. She was wearing a silver robe with a cloak and carrying 2 blades on her back. She was like a heroine with a heroic spirit. Her beautiful face was suffused with a trace of evil charm that could cause people to be infatuated with her. Yang Zixin, who was beside her, still looked the same as 10 years ago. No matter how one looked at him, he looked like a 5 or 6-year-old child. He was holding a greasy chicken leg in his hand and eating it in big mouthfuls, not caring about his image at all. 10 years had passed, but he still had not recovered the memories of his previous life. The restriction that Yang Wu had placed on him was also not completely lifted, but his physical strength was already shocking. Yang Wu and his group rushed at full speed. On the way, they met other sages. Some of the sages recognized the Yang clan's battleship and cupped their hands to let them pass. There were also some sages who did not care. The transcendent world was very big, and there were many sages who were not afraid of the Yang clan. Suddenly, Nanan cried out in alarm. "Brother Sheng, quickly take a look. The demonic beast that the guy over there is riding is very strange. It looks like a pig, and that guy over there is carrying something on his back. He looks like a beggar." Yang Zixing nodded as he ate his chicken leg. "Sister's right. These guys really know how to act. If Sister's true dragon were to transform into the sky, I guarantee that they would be scared shitless. Good idea. Uncle Dragon, transform for me." Nan smiled knowingly, then shouted at the dignified middle-aged man beside her. The middle-aged man immediately rushed out and transformed into a majestic 5-clawed true dragon. A dragon's roar rang out. Roar! The saints in the vicinity were all shocked, especially their mounts. They were so frightened that they fell from the sky one after another. True dragon. Oh my God, run. It's that little devil's mount. It's a true dragon. I'm scared to death. It's coming for me. Help. It's killing people. The sages within a few miles were all in a panic. No one dared to travel alongside the Yang family's battleship. Yang Wu looked at Nanan and said, "Don't mess around." Nanan stuck out her tongue at Yang Wu, then summoned her true dragon back. "Don't be so ostentatious in the future. There are many big shots in this world that you can't afford to offend." Yang Wu reminded Nanan. "I know. I won't do it again." Nanan answered honestly. Yang Zixing said, "Those that you can't afford to offend are all old monsters. What's there to be afraid of? You're the only one who's looking down on the world. Maybe there's someone as old as you who's even more outstanding than you." Yang Wu huffed. "Haha, I'm a genius. Who can compare to me? You're overestimating yourself." Yang Zixing laughed maniacally. Just as he finished speaking, a lazy voice rang out. "Arrogant little brat. Don't you know how to be embarrassed? Who dares to talk about me like that? I'll teach you how to behave." Yang Zixing looked around. That voice came from nowhere, and it wasn't something that anyone could discover. Only Yang Wu could barely pinpoint the direction of the voice. He looked up and saw a child of the same age as Yang Zixing lying on a demonic cloud. The child was wearing a simple short shirt and had a weed in her mouth. She crossed her legs and wore 2 diamond bracelets on her wrists. She looked very cute and proud. When Yang Wu saw the child, his heart inexplicably beat a lot faster. His blood also boiled. The feeling of being of the same origin called out to him, and he had an inexplicable intimate connection with the child. Yang Wu's eyes flashed with surprise, and he became inexplicably excited. The only people who could make him feel this way were those who were related by blood. Yang Jinan also had a strange feeling, but it wasn't as strong as Yang Wu's. "Why does this child look like Wu when he was young?" Yang Jinan murmured. "Who do you think you are? Why don't you take off your pants and see if your little dick has any feathers?" The child lying on the demonic cloud said disdainfully. Yang Zixing looked up and saw a child who looked like him actually daring to laugh at him. He was so angry that he shouted, "Where did this wild child come from? How dare you say that to me? I'll flick your dick 100 times and again." After saying that, Yang Zixing rushed out of the battleship and rushed toward the child in the demonic cloud. The child on the demonic cloud had an evil look in her eyes. She said coldly, "Who are you calling a wild child? Of course it's you." Yang Zixing shouted and threw a punch at the child. Yang Zixing wasn't bloodthirsty. He controlled the strength of his punch very well, afraid that he would kill the child with one punch. However, the child wasn't easy to deal with. He jumped out of the demonic cloud and also threw a punch at Yang Zixing. He shouted, You're the wild child. Bang! The two children exchanged blows for the first time. In an instant, there was an earth-shattering explosion. The clouds in the sky collapsed, and the space was collapsing. Yang Zixing held back, but the child opposite him didn't. Yang Zixing was blasted away. After the child succeeded, his eyes were filled with evil. He stepped into the air and swept toward Yang Zixing. He gritted his teeth and said, "I'll beat you to death." This child was brimming with murderous intent. Everyone could feel his shocking, murderous intent. Even top-notch saints felt a chill run down their spines when they sensed it. "Don't you dare hurt my little brother." Nanan shouted and wanted to rush out. However, Yang Wu held her shoulder and said, "Don't worry. Rebirth won't be defeated like this." As expected, Yang Zixing had already bounced back. He said unwillingly, "Wild child, you have some strength. I'm going to be serious this time." Yang Zixing was born with a divine body and astonishing strength. After 10 years of tempering, his combat strength was astonishing. Even if it was just the strength of his physical body, he could kill a saint with his bare hands. The two children exchanged blows quickly. The shadows of their fists floated and intertwined. Neither was weaker than the other. The people of the Yang family watched the battle between the two children, and their faces were all extremely moved. The saints who came from afar also saw this scene. Their jaws almost dropped. Where did these two children come from? How could their combat strength be so abnormal? They were only using the strength of their physical bodies, but the strength of their punches was so overbearing. How could they let others live? Who is this wild child? How can he be on par with Rebirth's younger brother? Nanan muttered to herself. There are many capable people in the world. He looks young, but maybe he's an old monster who has lived for who knows how long, Yang Jinan said. Another Yang clan saint said, "That's right. It must be so. Only then can it be explained clearly. We can't be careless in this martial saint assembly." Someone else sighed. "Is he really my son?" The one with the most complicated thoughts was Yang Wu. He guessed that the child in front of him might be his and Ho Yudi's child. Otherwise, he couldn't explain his body's reaction. The demonic seed and the divine body were born to be sworn enemies. Was this their fated meeting? Yang Wu faintly felt extremely worried. "Wild child, you have some strength, but you're still no match for me. Hee, you little brat. Watch me kick your butt. Wow, little grandpa is really going to get angry. Nah, I'll beat you to death." Chapter 15:10. Yang Zixing was being abused. Most of his power had been sealed by Yang Wu, leaving only his physical strength. Although it was still very abnormal, he was not a match for the child in front of him. "You dare to call yourself young master with this little strength? This young master is your grandfather." The child fighting Yang Zixing was full of fighting spirit. He spoke with an evil aura, not holding back at all against Yang Zixing. Punch after punch, he wildly beat up Yang Zixing. If it were not for Yang Zixing's powerful physical body, Yang Zixing would have died without a doubt. "Nanan, save him," Yang Wu ordered, pausing for a moment before adding, "Don't hurt the child, capture him alive." "Yes, big brother," Nanan responded, flying out of the warship and attacking the child. One of his hands stretched out infinitely, grabbing at the child, while the other grabbed at Yang Zixing. It was also at this time that Yang Zixing suddenly shouted, "Big sister, don't come over and help me. I can deal with this brat." Suddenly, a tyrannical aura burst out from Yang Zixing's body, as if the seal on his power had been lifted a lot. He once again erupted with a powerful force, clashing with the child in front of him. The child was not afraid. Instead, his face was filled with excitement. He replied, "Come, be a bit stronger, otherwise it'll be really boring." Just as the two children were about to clash again, a voice rang out, "Rascal, don't cause any more trouble. Quickly go to the last world." This voice only fell into the child's ears. It was difficult for others to detect it, not even Yang Wu. "Boring," the child grumbled. He somersaulted and returned to the demonic cloud, saying, "We'll fight again at the Martial Saint Assembly. I'll let you off for now. Where do you think you're going?" Yang Zixing had just been beaten up and had not yet recovered his face. How could he expect the child to escape? Just as he was about to catch up, another figure was even faster than him and rushed towards the child. Patriarch. Everyone on the Yang family battleship exclaimed. No one had expected Yang Wu to personally make a move. Could it be that there was something wrong with that child? The child on the demonic cloud reacted quickly and drove the demonic cloud away. He cursed, I beat up the young one, and the old one came. This is bad. The speed of the devil cloud's advance was very fast, but Yang Wu's speed was even faster. Before he arrived, he had already stretched out a palm that blotted out the sky and grabbed towards the child and the devil cloud. He would never allow the child to escape. However, just as his palm touched the child, the speed of the demonic cloud instantly increased. The child even turned around and made a funny face at him. Shameless old man, you even dare to bully a child. I'll teach you a lesson next time. And Mo Yin took the child and left through the void shuttle. No. Yang Wu finally saw this child who might be his son. He naturally did not want to miss this opportunity. He transmitted, Father, lead the clansmen to the last world. Don't wait for me. The next moment, the thunder tribulation cloud also appeared beside him, bringing him in the direction of the child. The thunder tribulation cloud's speed was not slow. Under Yang Wu's urging, it caught up with the child at full speed. The child thought that he had gotten rid of Yang Wu. When he saw Yang Wu rushing over, his eyes jumped and he exclaimed, This guy can also control the magic cloud. Old Ghost actually lied to me, saying that my demonic cloud was unique and could not find a second one in the transcendent realm. Too hateful. Demonic cloud, hurry up for me. I don't want to be caught by this guy. The child urged the demonic cloud. Child, don't run. I have something to say to you. Yang Wu caught up with the child and shouted, Old man, I'm not familiar with you. There's nothing to say. The child responded, You're my son. Yang Wu wanted to roar out loud, but when the words reached his mouth, he swallowed them back. He was really afraid that all of this was just an illusion. He sped up and charged over, determined to capture the child. Just as he was about to do so, a power descended from the sky and enveloped him. Yang Wu's hair instantly stood on end. He raised his fist and threw out a heaven-defying punch. Bang! The power that came out of nowhere was extremely overbearing. It shattered the power of his punch and slapped him down from the sky. Pooh! Yang Wu felt as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him. His body fell heavily to the ground, and a deep hole appeared on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The opponent's strength was definitely an overlord-level powerhouse. Otherwise, it would be impossible to slap him down from the sky in one move. Hey, you're not dead yet. How rare. An ethereal voice rang out. Old Ghost, I thought you wouldn't make a move and would just wait for me to be caught. The child stopped and shouted into the void. Brat, don't be impudent in front of your master. After the voice rang out, another palm descended and slapped the child's body. The child and the demonic cloud were slapped a few li away. Old Ghost, if you bully me again, be careful that when I grow up, I'll kick your butt. The child said unhappily. He then said, Why don't you kill that fellow and leave him alive to take revenge on me? He could take a palm from me and not die. He could be considered to have some ability. Let's leave him alive first. In the future, let him be your whetstone. That's fine too. Give me a little more time. I'll kill everyone from the war race. Yang Wu stood up. He had already lost sight of the child. He adjusted his breathing, and a pained expression appeared on his face. Who took him away? Who? He finally saw a child who might be his, but before he could acknowledge him, he was taken away. His mood was incomparably uncomfortable. At the same time, he realized that the person who took his child away was most likely a powerful overlord. They were much stronger than him. He didn't know where the other party came from, but his child's entire body was covered in an evil aura. He definitely wasn't walking on the right path. I must find him. I can't let him go astray. Yang Wu steeled his heart and forced out a drop of blood essence. He hoped to use the blood essence to guide the way to find his child. Unfortunately, the blood essence didn't have any reaction. He couldn't help but suspect that his guess was wrong. If Huijin was here, it would be much easier. Yang Wu thought to himself. Yu Huijin was left behind by him in the Yang family in case of any accidents. He was confident that with the black pot on his back, Even if he encountered an overlord-level figure, he could still escape if he couldn't win. Only now did he realize that he had underestimated these overlord-level figures. Yang Wu once again landed on the Thunder Tribulation Cloud and chased in the direction that the child left. Unfortunately, he completely lost sight of him. Helpless, he could only head in the direction of the Apocalypse World. He muttered to himself, "He will definitely go to the Apocalypse World." The saints that appeared at this time were basically all heading towards the Apocalypse World. The Apocalypse World was not only the location of the Martial Saint Assembly, but also the location of the Myriad Martial Assembly. The Apocalypse World was known as the smallest world, but it was also the largest world. There were layers of space inside. After entering, it wasn't easy to come out. The saints of the Transcendent World would only compete in the first 3 layers of the Apocalypse World. After the top 10,000 saints were decided, the 4th layer would be opened and they would enter the final battle of the Myriad Martial Assembly. The Apocalypse World was extremely special. The layers of space inside didn't seem to be within the Transcendent World. It was rumored that it was once the center of the human world and was connected to other realms. That was why the 10,000 saints could compete there. Whether it was true or not, one would only know after experiencing it. In the small Apocalypse World, there were many war chariots, battleships, and flying mounts continuously descending. Every one of them was a living being of a human race. Their strength had reached the Star Rune realm. When they moved, star runes would appear on their backs, displaying their powerful forces. The Martial Saint Assembly hadn't started yet, but the Divine Divination Pavilion had already released the prediction of the Martial Saint Assembly. First Martial Saint, Putillo from the Tianli Temple. He was a saint who had been famous for a long time. He had already reached the half-step Heaven Ascension realm and could enter the Heaven Ascension realm at any time. As long as he hadn't truly reached the Jade Moon realm, he was still a saint. It was the same for the half-step Heaven Ascension realm. This kind of peak saint could participate in the battle of the Martial Saints. This rule had been established for a long time. Its purpose was to avoid being at a disadvantage when fighting against beings from other realms. Putillo was able to become first because he had already been an invincible saint 3,000 years ago. He had fought 108 battles without losing a single one. In these years, he had cultivated his body and mind. He didn't have any achievements, but the Divine Divination Pavilion still ranked him first. This was also after consideration. No one had any objections to this prediction. Second Martial Saint was Xiejun from the Immortal Palace. This person had made his debut 800 years ago. His Immortal Blade technique was unparalleled in the world. He had originally been expected to succeed the position of Palace Master of the Immortal Palace, but he had resolutely refused. He was a fierce person who had once charged into the 4 islands of the outer regions alone. He had killed many saints and Heaven Ascension realm experts. No one had any objections to him being ranked second. There were also people who once said that if Xiejun challenged Putillo, he might be able to shake Putillo's throne. This also proved that the two of them were on par with each other in terms of strength. Third Martial Saint was a rogue cultivator named Tu Yanyan. She was a beautiful woman who was famous for her beauty and incomparably powerful. It was rumored that she had a solitary evil body. Anyone who was with her would die. She had once had 7 cultivation partners. These 7 partners were all heroes of the world, but they had all mysteriously died. Many people said that she had taken Yin to nourish Yang and killed her partners. Whether it was true or not, only she knew. Those who dared to ask this question, whether they were saints or half-step Heaven Ascension realm experts, were all dead. To be able to become third Martial Saint from a rogue cultivator, this Tu Yanyan strength was extremely powerful. Fourth Martial Saint was the evil child king from the king of Hell's Palace. This was an evil expert who had only appeared in the past 100 years. It was rumored that this guy had absorbed countless lives and cultivated a terrifying immortal deity technique. Even Heaven Ascension experts couldn't kill him. He had even killed many Heaven Ascension experts. Fifth Martial Saint was the first princess of the Xianyuan clan, Xianyuan Shu. She was a woman who was even more powerful than the first prince, Xianyuan Tianlong. Chapter 1511. The sixth martial saint was Kunlun's Lien Fei. The seventh martial saint was Evil Buddha Temple's Fa. The eighth martial saint was Purple Firmament Palace's Lei Jingtian. The ninth martial saint was Shu Mountain's Jiayu. The 10th martial saint was Yang Wu from the Yang clan. Among the top 10 martial saints, Yang Wu was the youngest to enter the top 10. This was a special honor. This also meant that Yang Wu already had the qualifications to become the leader of the martial saints. Many of the old saints were not convinced. Yang Wu was young, and his battle record was amazing. However, in their opinion, it was all thanks to the help of divine weapons. Without the help of divine weapons, in their opinion, Yang Wu would not be a match for them at all. This was only a predicted ranking, and there were still many unpredictable factors. Perhaps there were some dark horses that were unknown to the public, or perhaps there were some saints whose strength had suddenly skyrocketed. These were also not within the predicted range. Everything would be based on the final result. The martial saint Steel stood in the apocalypse world. It was also connected to the inner space. This martial saint Steel was 99,900 feet tall. It was incomparably tall and exuded an ancient aura. It suppressed the apocalypse world and also suppressed the ancient times. After leaving their names with blood essence, the top 10,000 would leave their names on the martial saint Steel after the martial saint assembly ended. In the previous martial saint assembly, the names on the martial saint Steel appeared on it. Some martial saints had successfully entered the Jade Moon realm and became powerful figures. There were also some martial saints who died by accident or went into seclusion. However, to be able to enter the martial saint Steel in this once-in-a-thousand-years event was the glory of any force. That's our Dragon Tiger Sex, Senior Zhang Jiozha. He's in the top 100 of the martial saint Steel. I really look up to him. The one in the 88th place is our Tang Sex granduncle. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. No wonder even the clan leader is polite to him. The one in the top 10 is our Purple Firmament Palace's Senior Zilanue. She even entered the 10,000 Saint Steel and ascended to the divine world. My master is actually a martial saint in the top 1,000. Haha, he wasn't bragging. When I go back, I'll have to toast him a few more pots of wine. More and more saints gathered in front of the martial saint tablet. When they saw the martial saints from the previous batch that they recognized, they all revealed looks of admiration. In their eyes, these were the idols they were chasing, and also the stumbling blocks in their life. As long as they moved them away, they would be able to step on their own martial arts path. With 1,080,000 saints gathered here, many markets were open for business. Some of them were the original inhabitants of the apocalypse world, while others were saints who came from outside to earn more saint items or to exchange for things they wanted. As time passed, the area around the martial saint monument became very lively. Some sold pills, some sold herbs, and even some sold puppets. There were all kinds of things that one could think of. After the Yang family rushed here, they immediately chose a place to set up camp. Yang Ba and Su Chu began to make arrangements and set up camp. There were also primitive inhabitants in the end world. This was their territory. If one wanted to stay here, they would have to give them some benefits. Otherwise, they wouldn't give up their territory. The Yang family didn't bully the kind and fear the evil. According to the rules, they gave the primitive inhabitants some Xian stones and cleared out a place for them to set up camp. The martial saint assembly wouldn't start so soon. All the creatures in the Transcendence would rush over. It would take some time. However, before the Yang family's people were ready, someone came looking for trouble. "We've taken a liking to this piece of land. You guys move over," someone said arrogantly. The apocalypse world wasn't big. With so many people squeezing in, the space was indeed tight. The battle world wasn't far from the apocalypse world. The Yang family's people came early, so they could occupy a large area. Now, the people who came to ask the Yang family to move were not small. They were the saints of the Primal Origin sect from a North G world, and some other saints who came with them. The Primal Origin sect was also a super first-rate force. It wasn't too far away from the giant forces. It was only because they never had an overlord that they couldn't squeeze into the giant forces. The Primal Origin sect was quite famous in the North G world. They had gathered a lot of saints. A total of 300 saints came together. They gathered together so that they wouldn't be bullied by the saints of other worlds. At the same time, they could do whatever they wanted in this place. The Primal Origin sect's people had already recognized that this was the territory of the Yang family. They dared to come and provoke them. Their courage was not ordinary. It was rumored that the Primal Origin sect's people were tyrannical. It seemed that the rumor was true. The Yang family and its subordinate forces added up to less than 100 saints. There were less than 70 of them. Some of them were even consecrated by the Yang family. Compared to the 300 saints of a Yang family, it could be said that they paled in comparison. However, they weren't afraid. Yang Ba and Su Chu stood in front of the Primal Origin sect's people. Yang Ba said, "Are you blind? Don't you know that this is the territory of the Yang family?" The leader of the Primal Origin sect's people replied, "The Yang family only has a few people. Hurry up and move away. We'll give you double the compensation." This was a strong middle-aged man who wasn't inferior to Yang Ba. He had a face full of beard and carried a huge saber on his back. He was an expert from the Primal Origin sect who was a half-step into the heaven-piercing realm. His name was Wang Wanfeng. Wang Wanfeng was quite famous in the North G world. He was already an invincible saint 1,000 years ago. After entering the half-step into the heaven-piercing realm, he had the ability to fight against heaven-piercing realm experts. "Scram!" Yang Ba shouted at Wang Wanfeng. He had a domineering aura. Like Su Chu, Yang Ba had cultivated to the 9th level of the astral rune realm. He could easily fight against a peak saint. "You don't know the meaning of death. How dare you speak to Lord Wang like that?" A peak-level saint stepped forward from behind Wang Wanfeng and shouted, "Who do you think you are? You want to take our territory? Why don't you take a look at whose territory this is?" Su Chu replied, "It seems that if I don't show you who's boss, you won't back down." Wang Wanfeng said ruthlessly. As soon as he finished speaking, the 300 sages behind him surrounded the Yang clan's people. As soon as he gave the order, he could wipe out all of the Yang clan's people. Just as Yang Ba was about to speak, someone beat him to it. "You want to bully us because you have more people? Let me teach you how to behave." A child rushed out, and his target was Wang Wanfeng. This child was very fast, and his attacks were even faster. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Wang Wanfeng. Wang Wanfeng reacted very quickly and blocked the punch in an instant. Bang! The punch was very powerful, but it still couldn't make Wang Wanfeng take half a step back. However, the child didn't show any mercy. He continued to attack Wang Wanfeng crazily, and many punches surrounded Wang Wanfeng. Wang Wanfeng's impatience flashed across his face as he sent a backhand slap towards the child. Just as his palm was about to hit the child, a spear pierced towards Wang Wanfeng. Wang Wanfeng changed his position and retreated. The person beside him dashed out and blocked the spear. The other sages were ready to make a move, and a great battle was about to break out. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon's roar rang out. The terrifying aura of a demon god shrouded the saints of the Primal Origin sect, scaring them out of their wits. A terrifying true dragon stood in the air. As long as it moved casually, it could kill a group of saints. In front of it, these saints were too small. Wang Wanfeng and the others were scared out of their wits. How could a god be allowed to appear in a battle between saints? "Vile beast, don't even think about harming us," said an exceedingly high cultivator coldly, grabbing at the dragon. It wasn't just one master of the heavens who had made a move. The power of many master of the heavens had shrouded them at the same time. They had clearly come prepared. These omnipotent beings weren't weaklings. They used the moon-plucking technique, the god-binding rope, and the blood dragon barrier. Their goal was to capture the true dragon. Despicable! Nanan shouted. This true dragon was subdued by her master. It was the purest true dragon in the transcendent world. Who knew how many omnipotent beings wanted to capture it? Finally, they could use it to their advantage. The true dragon was not easy to deal with. Previously, if Howren didn't take action, who would have been able to take him down? He rushed into the sky, using dragon cries, dragon fiend energy, and many other innate skills to fight fiercely with those heaven-reaching experts. Nan was worried sick. She wanted nothing more than to help the true dragon. The Yang family was also anxious. The true dragon was originally their protector, ensuring that they wouldn't be bullied along the way. They didn't expect an omnipotent being to be so bold as to think of slaying a true dragon. Caw! Suddenly, a shadow soared into the sky from the Yang family. It instantly turned into a large crow and went to help the true dragon. This crow wasn't Waguna. It was another crow that had reached the divine realm. Its strength wasn't inferior to Waguna's from 10 years ago. After coming to the transcendent world, its strength had increased rapidly. It was the second strongest crow, Wugu-he. This time, the Yang family had come to participate in the martial Saint assembly. There were bound to be many hostile forces who wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to hit them while they were down. Yang Wu had long since prepared for this. He had brought Wugu-he along just in case. With Wugu-he supporting the true dragon, Nan's state of mind calmed down quite a bit. Wang Wanfeng took the opportunity to order, if the Yang family doesn't scram, beat them until they do. Before the martial Saint assembly, internal strife wasn't allowed. Wang Wanfeng didn't want to kill anyone. He just wanted to embarrass the Yang family. He didn't want to do such a thing, but it was a pity that some things weren't up to him to decide. Everyone, prepare for battle. Beat them to death. Even if it means losing the right to participate in the martial Saint assembly, will make them pay the price. Yang Jinan shouted fiercely. Yang Jinan's words instantly intimidated the primal origin sex people. If the Yang family didn't care about anything and attacked, they wouldn't be able to avoid killing them. But if that happened, they might lose the right to participate in the martial Saint assembly. We have more people. Why should we be afraid of them? Beat them. Wang Wanfeng roared again. Who gave you the guts to bully the people of my Yang family? A loud voice rang out from afar. Chapter 15:12. Yang Wu had arrived. He had chased after his son to no avail and had even been injured by someone else. Later on, he had searched for his son's whereabouts, but to no avail. Thus, he had rushed to the last world. After arriving at the last world, it had been difficult to find the Yang clan's members among so many people. When he had finally found them, he had discovered that there were actually people who dared to threaten the Yang clan. The other party's guts were truly extraordinary. They didn't put Yang Wu in their eyes at all. Yang Wu rushed over like a swimming dragon. His majestic aura instantly enveloped the primal origin sex members. Their minds swayed as if they had just seen a king descend. They couldn't muster the slightest thought of disobeying. Big brother, they want to deal with us and my mount, Uncle Dragon. Nanan shouted. Yang Wu had long sensed the battle between deities. It was the aura of a true dragon that allowed him to lock onto the Yang clan's location. He wasn't in a hurry to help. Instead, he looked at Wang Wanfeng and shouted, How do you want to die? As a half-step transcending heaven expert, Wang Wanfeng was only a step away from the Jade Moon realm. He was ranked in the top 3,000 on the martial saint ranking. He didn't think that he would be afraid of facing Yang Wu. However, when he met Yang Wu's gaze, his entire body trembled. An unshakable feeling assaulted his heart. You? What do you want? Before the martial saint assembly begins, I can't. Wang Wanfeng stuttered. Just as he finished speaking, a palm slapped furiously at his face from a distance. Pa! Pa! Void hand! The ghostly palm slapped Wang Wanfeng's face repeatedly. He was completely unprepared, and even his front teeth were knocked out. Wang Wanfeng did not expect that Yang Wu would attack him without any hesitation. However, since he dared to cause trouble in the Yang clan, he must have come prepared. Imperial River cover. Suddenly, an item flew out from his body. A blue light barrier floated around him like a wave, protecting him tightly and blocking Yang Wu's attack. This was a divine item. Even a Jade Moon expert would not be able to harm it. Yang Wu, if you dare touch me again, do you believe that I won't destroy your Yang family, even if I have to risk my life? Wang Wanfeng shouted. He hated Yang Wu to the core for losing so much face in front of so many sages. Then let's give it a try. Yang Wu shouted coldly. He was ready to break Wang Wanfeng's Imperial River cover and kill him. Suddenly, several puppets rushed up from the ground. They were all puppets of the devil race, and they belonged to the devil god level. They were living puppets. The living devil puppets shouted, "Slaughter the war race's people." Yang Wu's eyes flickered as he shouted, "Spread out." In the next moment, Yang Wu's black pot flew out, blocking in front of these demonic puppets. It was also at this moment that the devil puppets exploded in shock. Rumble, rumble. All of these god-level demon puppets had self-detonated. This was definitely a shocking murder. Too ruthless. Making the god-level demon puppets self-detonate not only killed Yang Wu, but also all of the Yang family sages. All of the sages in the apocalypse world were frightened. Some of the nearby ones were even affected. They all frantically fled, hating that they did not have two more legs. Wang Wanfeng, who was protected by the Imperial River cover, was also dumbfounded. All of this was not arranged by him. "It's over," Wang Wanfeng muttered after being sent flying by the shockwave. Regardless of whether it was related to him or not, he would definitely be implicated. No one would believe that it had nothing to do with him. The Yang family sages had all gone crazy. Several devil puppets self-detonated. How terrifying was that power? Did Yang Wu still have a way out? "Wu!" Yang Jinan roared. He held the south-suppressing spear and rushed over. He kept praying that nothing would happen to his son. Brother, Nanan was also incomparably sad. It was too terrifying just now. If the devil puppets had not targeted Yang Wu, but them, they would have died without a doubt. The other Yang family members went crazy and charged towards the Primal Origin Sect sages. Primal Origin Sect? I, Yang Ba, swear that I will not coexist with you. Yang Ba raised his giant axe and charged over. The Primal Origin Sect was completely flustered. They were in the wrong and did not want to stay at all. They did not care if Wang Wanfeng gave the order or not and quickly fled. It did not matter whether they participated in the martial sage assembly or not. In any case, there was nothing they could do. They were not afraid of the Yang family, but they were afraid of being killed by the heaven-reaching realm experts guarding this place. Sure enough, there was no way they could escape. A shocking giant palm slammed towards them. Bang! Bang! When the gigantic palm came crashing down, the sages were smashed into minced meat one after another. No one was able to escape. A voice rang out. "Fighting is prohibited before the martial sage assembly. Violators will be killed." The Primal Origin Sect's sages were all killed. Wang Wanfeng could not resist the power of the palm. His Imperial River shield could not withstand the power of the palm and was instantly smashed into powder. The surrounding sages were scared out of their wits. The Yang family sages also stopped, not daring to move recklessly for fear of being killed by the palm. Even the heaven-reaching realm experts in the 9 heavens hurriedly stopped, not daring to attack the true dragon. The Guardian was really angry. Every time the martial sage assembly began, the Guardian would appear and preside over the assembly. This time was no exception. No one knew the origin of the Guardian. They only knew that he was blind, but he could see more than anyone else. He was one of the Dao brothers and the 3rd strongest expert. Some people believe that the Guardian should be ranked first, higher than the Dao brothers and stronger than the old monk of the Tianli Temple. Unfortunately, he did not fight for it and was willing to be the 3rd strongest. He was an invincible expert. He easily wiped out 300 sages and none of them could escape. The other sages were terrified. Just like that, the Primal Origin Sect was finished. Once again, the protector disappeared. He didn't target the Yang clan because they were the victims. So Mother Asterisk King dangerous. Yang Wu didn't die. Instead, he hid inside the black pot and sighed. This move was even more terrifying than Kuan Mingzi using Chu Rong's self-detonation to kill him. "Wu, are you okay?" Yang Jinan asked worriedly. Yang Wu put away the black pot and waved his hand. "I'm fine. They always want to kill me with the same move. How can it be so easy?" He paused for a moment and said loudly, "Where did the Primal Origin Sect get the god-tier demon puppet?" They want to harm me, Yang Wu. I am well aware of this. We will settle this debt one by one." Only the war race had dealings with the demon race. The demon puppet was unique to the war race. If other factions wanted the demon puppet, they would have to trade with the war race. Yang Wu already knew who wanted to kill him. However, all the evidence had been destroyed. He did not pursue this matter further. In any case, some debts would have to be settled sooner or later. The Yang family also knew that only the Xing family would do such a thing. They could not find trouble with the Xing family now, but once the martial saint assembly began, they would kill anyone from the Xing family. This time they came prepared. Their cultivation had increased by a lot, and they had obtained many high-grade items. They were all given to them by Yang Wu. They were very confident in the martial saint assembly. After the primal origin sects saints were killed, the other saints did not dare to provoke them. Everyone was peacefully waiting for the start of the martial sage assembly. Yang Wu, on the other hand, had the Yang family open a pill trading house to sell high-grade saint pills. This was the business he had prepared before coming to the martial saint assembly. Yang Mami was an expert in business. Moreover, she was extremely beautiful. When she opened her mouth, countless saints and Nan would crowd around her. It was hard for her business not to be popular. Their pills were limited, but there were many saints here. All of them were rich and overbearing. Naturally, they would raise the price of their pills by a lot. The price was 30% higher than other shops. Most of these pills came from Yang Wu. Who was Yang Wu? Presumably, many people were clear about it. He was the youngest divine apothecary in history and an Emperor Realm alchemist. He had 4th Tribulation and 5th Tribulation saint pills. These were even more expensive. Before the start of the Martial Sage Conference, the Yang family had made a huge fortune. In addition, some saints wanted to form an alliance with the Yang family so that they could look after each other in the end world. Yang Wu did not care about these matters. He left them to Yang Ba and Su Chu. Yang Wu was not idle either. He was also entertaining some acquaintances, such as the Sun family, the Apothecary Alliance, and even people from Wudong and Mount Hung. No matter how arrogant Yang Wu was, it was impossible for him to not see them. The Miao Miao also took the opportunity to make a fortune. They used the Marquis Trading Company's banner to trade pills. With a war imminent, the sale of pills would always be the best. On Wudong's side, the 7 heroes of Wudong had also become saints. However, their realm was still a little lower than Lu Ji's. Lu Ji had a cultivation physique. If his foundation had not been polished, his realm would have been close to the top saints. In addition, Yang Wu's father-in-law, Shu Yuqing, and Shu Yujun had also come. With Sword Devil as their backer, their Mount Hung sect had already become the leader of the 5 mountains. Moreover, they had also shared part of the chant of the 5 mountain Sword Sutra with Mount Hung and Mount Hua, causing internal strife between Mount Song and Mount Tai. They felt that they should support Mount Hung in exchange for the chant of the 5 mountain Sword Sutra. Yang Wu was also in a good mood when he saw Shu Yujun. After this matter was over, Shu Yujun would move to his Yang family and would no longer stay in Mount Hung sect. Only then would she have a bit of the appearance of a Yang family head's wife. Wan Lanxin was more or less jealous. However, she could not change this fact. She could only endure this grievance. Fortunately, Shu Yujun had a forthright personality and did not bother about trifles. She took the initiative to talk to Wan Lanxin, breaking down the barrier in their hearts. Yang Wu was also happy to see this. As more and more saints arrived, the time for the Martial Saint Assembly to begin was also approaching. Chapter 15:13. The Martial Saint held it once every 1,000 years. Whether it was the Transcendent World's 108 realms or the 4 islands, all the saints who passed the selection would gather in the final world. The people of the 4 islands were also part of the Transcendent World, but they were separated by the sea. The people of the 2 realms didn't like each other and had many conflicts. This time, there were many people from the 4 islands. Although their population was small, their martial strength was quite strong. They had abundant resources and powerful inheritances. Because the protectors had appeared and killed the people of the Primal Origin sect, the other saints didn't dare to provoke the protectors even if the people of the 4 islands appeared. After all the forces settled in the space, they were all looking for artifacts that could enhance their strength. They were also looking for ways to earn more benefits. Most of the forces were looking for ways to form cliques. Only in this way could they have more security inside the space. There were many dangers in the space of the final world. There were ancient creatures and some terrifying forbidden lands. At the same time, it was accompanied by great opportunities. There would be some sacred objects that could increase one's strength, some ancient techniques that could temper the body, and even some rare treasures that could appear. Many heaven-reaching realm powerhouses obtained gains in the end-world space, then advanced triumphantly all the way, becoming a heaven-reaching realm powerhouse of a generation, establishing a force of their own. This was a competition between martial saints and also a competition for resources. If one could enter the Thousand Saints Assembly, it would be even more amazing. In the deeper layers of the final world, there were even more things. There were even ancient secret realms that contained secret techniques to open higher realms. Everyone yearned for it. Time passed day by day. The day of the Martial Saint Assembly was finally approaching. However, Yang Zixing, this child, had once again provoked trouble. It was unknown how he had encountered the child from before, but the two of them had fought fiercely, causing chaos in the marketplace. "You damned child, you still dare to appear. This young master will beat you until your parents can't recognize you. You're just a loser, yet you still dare to talk big. Why don't you see what kind of ability you have? You're infuriating me. If it wasn't for the fact that more than half of my strength was sealed, I would have suppressed you in a matter of minutes." Hee, you're talking as if I'm also using my full strength. These two children were destined to become the two most dazzling stars in this Martial Saint Assembly. At such a young age, they already possessed the strength of a saint. The two of them fought from the ground to the sky, causing the crowd to exclaim in surprise. "Are they halflings? He's so small, but his combat power is so strong. They destroyed my stall. These two brats are truly abominable. Where did these two kids come from? If I could take them as my disciples, it would be a great thing. Don't be silly. Look at their strength. No one can suppress them without top-notch fighting strength. They might have innate godly bodies. How heaven-defying." Many sages exclaimed in surprise. They were also curious about the background of these two children and who they were. The monstrous geniuses from the various major forces all revealed looks of dissatisfaction. They had cultivated bitterly for many years, and now that they had just emerged, they actually encountered these two children blocking their path. This made them feel extremely vexed. This time, Yang Wu was not in a hurry to capture the other child who might be his son. Instead, he called Wu Guha over and let it sense where the god-level expert who was secretly protecting the child was. Only by finding the person behind the child could he think of a way to deal with it. Wu Guha was a demonic beast from the divine firmament battlefield. It was very sensitive to some things in the void. Unfortunately, it could not find the person hiding in the void this time. There were too many experts gathered in this place. Quite a number of heaven-reaching realm experts had descended here to protect their saints. Although Wu Guha could sense the void, he was unable to identify the people that Yang Wu was looking for. The battle between Yang Zixing and the child came and went quickly. The child's combat power was indeed ferocious. Yang Zixing, whose strength was sealed, was beaten black and blue once again. When he wanted to fight desperately, the child took the opportunity to slip away. Yang Zixing was so angry that he shouted, "When we reach the Martial Sage Assembly, I will definitely teach you a lesson." In fact, the two of them were about the same in terms of physical strength. If they really fought, it was still unknown who would have the upper hand. After each battle, Yang Zixing's seal loosened a little more. As long as he could borrow the power of the heavenly lightning, killing sages would be as easy as slaughtering chickens. After this battle, Yang Wu was also unable to capture the child. However, he knew that the child called himself Xietian. Yang Wu was very uncomfortable when he heard this name. He was 90% sure that this child was his son. How could he feel good when he was given such an evil name? Or, what's the matter with that child? Yang Jinan transmitted his voice to Yang Wu. Yang Wu took a deep breath and said, "Father, let's go to the side and talk." Yang Jinan realized that this child was most likely related to Yang Wu. The father and son walked to a quiet place, where Yang Wucai roughly told his father about the child's origin. As for the magic seed that the marvelous mathematician had mentioned, he did not mention a single word, for fear that his father would be worried. He really might be your son? Yang Jinan was moved. Yang Wu nodded and said, most likely. No wonder I felt that he looked very similar to you when you were young. The only difference is that the kid is too evil. Now it seems that he really might be my grandson. Yang Jinan was surprised and happy. There was no news about his other son. He did not expect that he would have a grandson now. This news came too suddenly and made him very surprised. If he went back and told his wife, she would be very happy. Father, don't be happy too early. This is only a possibility. It is not 100% certain. No, it is definitely him. Your bloodline has a reaction, and so do I. Although it is not as strong as yours, I feel very close to that kid. Moreover, he looks exactly like you when you were young. How could he not be your son? I will go and find him. Father, if I could find him, I would have found him long ago. The person behind him is very strong. I am not his match. Don't go looking for him. Wait until we enter the final world space, then find a way to find him and explain things to him. All right, what you said makes sense. I really can't wait to meet that kid. The Martial Saint assembly was finally about to begin. The Guardian once again appeared on the Martial Saint tablet. His voice faintly rang out. Saints, drop your blood and leave your names on the Martial Saint tablet. Following his command, the million saints all forced out their essence blood and condensed it into their names. They then threw it at the Martial Saint tablet. In the blink of an eye, 1,000,000 drops of sage blood soared into the sky like translucent bloodlight, causing waves of red clouds to appear. There was also a rainbow crossing the sky, and many stars flashed in the 9 heavens, pouring down boundless starry power. The power of the million saints caused a phenomenon that resonated with the heavens and earth. They were all powerful martial artists who had gone through countless trials and tribulations. They were compatible with the great Tao and had cultivated to the saint realm. Gathering here at the same time, causing a phenomenon was inevitable. After the million saints' names were imprinted on the Martial Saint tablet, the Martial Saint tablet received the power of the stars in the 9 heavens and emitted a dazzling light. Swoosh! The 10,000 names on the Martial Saint tablet began to disappear. They were replaced by the million saints' names and imprinted on it. The Martial Saint tablet became extremely red. Waves of blood chi rushed into the sky. After a long while, it gradually disappeared and returned to normal. At this moment, the Martial Saint tablet had already imprinted 1,000,000 names. Now, no one's name was ranked. Only after entering the final world space would the ranking change. In the final space, there are no rules, and that is the biggest rule. Whoever survives to the end will be the Martial Saint, and whoever stays the longest will be the first Martial Saint. The Martial Saint tablet will record your situation at all times. Whoever dies, their name will disappear. Whoever is willing to give up, their name will also disappear. Only the last 10,000 people will be able to leave their names on the Martial Saint tablet. Everyone, do your best, the Guardian announced. Immediately after, 1,000,000 jade tablets fell from the Martial Saint tablet and flew towards the saints. The saints reached out and held their jade tablets in their hands. These jade tablets represented their lives. Those who could not hold on could crush their jade tablets and be transported out of the final world space. This was a jade tablet with a fixed location teleportation formation. If they did not crush their jade tablets in time, when they were in danger, they would completely die in the final world space. There would be no chance for them to be reborn. This was a meeting where their lives were at stake. Open the spatial gate, the Guardian said faintly. Suddenly, a dozen old figures appeared in the sky. These people erupted with heavenly power at the same time. They mobilized the power of heaven and earth and hit the Martial Saint tablet. Under the convergence of many forces, a light gate faintly appeared. This was the spatial gate to the final world space. We have opened the spatial gate to the first 3 layers of the final world space. You can survive in the first 3 layers. The last 10,000 Martial Saints must pass through the first 3 layers. The Martial Saint tablet will have a conclusion. No one can fake it. Saints, please enter. The guardian's voice sounded again. The space of the final world has opened. It's the time for us to make contributions. Blood Evil sect members, follow me in. A saint from a Blood Evil sect shouted and led a group of saints into the space gate. For thousands of years, my long life temple has obtained countless great achievements. This time, it's our turn. How can we ruin the reputation of our ancestors? Saints of the Long Life Temple, follow me into the final world space. The people of the Long Life Temple also moved. Amipa, my Tinley Temple also wants to fight for an incense stick. Follow this monk in. Saints of the Purple Firmament Temple, listen up. Enter the final world space together. We must become martial saints. How can my Dragon Tiger sect fall behind others? Many forces took the lead and rushed into the spatial gate. They wanted to enter the final world space as soon as possible. Millions of saints moved together. What a majestic scene it was. These people gathered the strongest saints of the transcendent world. They were the representatives of the backbone of the transcendent world. Yang Wu said to the Yang family saints, "My Yang family is no longer the Yang family of the past. You are all the cornerstones of my Yang family. You don't need to fight for the title of martial saint. You just need to seize more opportunities that belong to you. Prioritize your life. Don't force yourself. Do you understand?" Understood. Good. Follow this patriarch. Chapter 15:14. The Apocalypse realm was known as the smallest realm, but it was actually the largest realm. This saying was very contradictory because the end world was only the size of city. But in truth, it was a hidden universe with layers upon layers of space. One needed to have the power to reach the heavens in order to break open that space and enter the true space of the end world. That was an ancient battlefield with many dangers and inheritances left behind. It could be said that it was a place where opportunities and dangers coexisted. After everyone entered the Apocalypse realm, everything changed. The final world outside was just a barren land. There weren't any high-grade spiritual items in the surroundings, and there weren't any powerful races living there either. But after arriving at the first layer of the final world, there were ancient mountain ranges crisscrossing. Huge flying beasts flew across the sky, and dense, profound chi of heaven and earth filled the world. An ancient aura pervaded the air, and it was truly a natural holy land for cultivation. In the transcendent realm, any place with rich xian chi of heaven and earth was a natural paradise for cultivation. Like Kunlun Mountains, Kunlun Mysterious Heaven Cave, Purple Firmament Halls, Lightning Pool, Long Life Halls, Long Life Paradise, and so on, every heavenly paradise had extraordinary uses. It was a holy land for cultivation that all martial saints yearned for. And the xian chi of heaven and earth gathered in the first layer of the Apocalypse realm was only slightly inferior to these holy lands for cultivation. It was much better than the cultivation grounds of many first-rate forces. Moreover, this was a large area with this kind of environment, which was incredible. If ordinary martial artists came here to cultivate, their cultivation speed would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. After the million saints entered, the tranquility of this place was instantly broken. This was not a safe place to begin with. After the saints entered, the natives here were all alarmed. A terrifying old tree swayed and swayed, and many branches whipped towards the saints. This was a terrifying divine tree that had already gained sentience. It was not clear whether it was an evil tree or not. In addition, there were also terrifying flying beasts that screeched. Then, many vicious beasts rushed out from the mountain range and rushed towards the saints at the same time. Haha, it's been 1,000 years, and there are invaders again. Just in time to have a good meal. An incomparably loud voice rang out, and a one-eyed giant stood up from the mountain range. His body was actually comparable to a mountain, and the aura he exuded was even more terrifying. He stretched out his hand to grab the saints, as if he was treating them like little birds that he could casually grab and play with. Apart from that, there were also some dangers that were heading their way, instantly scaring the saints out of their wits. What kind of tree is this? I can't cut its vines. Save me. Run. There's great danger here. We can't stay here. It's the legendary flying devil crocodile. How could it be so big? They are incomparably bloodthirsty, and their defense is heaven-defying. Poisonous fog, this is the holy poison. Oh no, it's the poisonous fog bloodworm, huh? The first level of the in-world space was truly a land of evil. Suddenly, so many terrifying monsters emerged. It seriously caused them to be endlessly alarmed. Someone shouted, "There are so many of us. Let's work together and flatten them." Unfortunately, this person had just shouted out when his head was directly pierced by a tree branch. Even his saint's soul was nailed out, and he couldn't be any more dead. Among the millions of saints, not a single one was united. The experts of various forces activated their divine objects to preserve their lives and leave here first. Some of the weaker ones really couldn't hold on, and were frightened to the point that they directly crushed their jade tablets and were directly transported out of this space. They had just entered, and someone was already eliminated. It could be seen how terrifying this place was. The most powerful saints of the transcendent world were gathered here, and they weren't all to be trifled with. Some saints simply ignored these attacks and even counterattacked. These people were definitely candidates for martial saint. The Yang family was also affected. They were not only facing attacks from the divine tree, but also some terrifying poison mist bloodworms. These poison mist bloodworms were extremely ferocious, and the poisonous gas they emitted could make saints faint. They were at a loss, and then they would devour them. The Yang family's saints resisted with all their might, but there were still some who found it difficult to resist. Fortunately, they had Yang Wu by their side. Yang Wu's body burst with flames and swept towards the poisonous fog bloodworms, burning them until they couldn't get close. Yang Wu swung his hand again and moved the people of the Yang family to a safe place and brought them to land in one of the directions. He sensed that the danger in that direction was the least. He shouted, "Cheer up and take the detoxification pill. This is only the first stage." Just as he landed on the ground, some terrifying plants suddenly moved underground. They were evil plants that could eat people. The people of the Yang family weren't all to be trifled with. Some of them reacted, and one after another, they moved to destroy the plants here. Someone exclaimed, "Quick, look! Isn't that the sacred medicine Qi Zhuzi over there?" In one direction, there were a few herbs that looked like fire pearls, and they were extremely beautiful and alluring. "It really is a sacred medicine. Quick, go and collect it," someone else replied. Thus, the Yang family's saints rushed in that direction. The evil plants around them caused them some trouble, but with their combined efforts, they got rid of all of them and gained something. It was said that this place was a place where opportunities and dangers coexisted. It wasn't just about killing without gaining anything. Just as they were feeling complacent, a shocking giant foot stomped in their direction angrily. It was the one-eyed giant that was targeting them. "Let me!" Yang Chaohui roared and stabbed at the one-eyed giant with his battle spear. Over the years, Yang Chaohui had left the battle world and solved the hidden danger of the demon Qi in his body. With the help of Yang Wu's resources, his strength had continuously increased, and he had reached the level 11 star rune realm. He attacked with all his strength, and his strength was astonishing. A blue starlight condensed into a bridge, blocking the one-eyed giant's giant foot. He wanted to pierce through the giant foot, but he found that the other party's defensive strength was astonishing, and he couldn't pierce through it at all. "Little ants, how dare you resist? I'll trample you to death." The one-eyed giant let out a buzzing sound, and the strength of its giant foot increased greatly, and it continued to stomp down angrily. Bang, bang. The power of Yang Chaohui's spear was all broken, and he couldn't stop it at all. The one-eyed giant's strength was too strong. "I'll help you," Yang Songbua shouted, holding a battle sword. He angrily stabbed forward. The other Yang family saints also took action to block the giant foot. Some of them rushed to the one-eyed giant's body and attacked it. The one-eyed giant's strength was amazing. He guarded the first floor and was the strongest existence on the first floor. His body was covered in yellow armor, and the attacks of the saints couldn't break through his defense at all. With a wave of his hand, he directly sent many saints flying. "Brother, should we go up and help?" Nan asked Yang Wu, who was beside him. I won't go. You guys do as you see fit, Yang Wu said indifferently. Although the one-eyed giant in front of him was powerful, it wasn't invincible to him. If the Yang family saints couldn't deal with it together, how could they survive in this place? Yang Wu wasn't here to be a guard. He had to let the Yang family survive in this desperate situation so that they could go further. I'll fight with this big monster, Yang Zixing shouted and rushed to join the battle. He had lost to Xie Tian consecutively, and he couldn't accept it in his heart. He wanted to use this battle to break the seal on his body as soon as possible. Only in this way could he release his strongest fighting strength. Nan, Master entrusted you to me. In fact, Brother didn't take care of you that much. Now that we're here, Brother hopes that you can do your best to fight for a higher ranking. Don't let down Master's expectations of you, Yang Wu said solemnly. He paused for a moment before continuing. This trip is very dangerous, but Brother won't bring you along. I hope that you and Zainsheng can go together. The two of you can rely on each other and go forward hand in hand. I hope to see your names on the Martial Saint ranking board. Nan nodded heavily and said, Brother can be assured, I can definitely do it. Then take care of yourselves. Yang Wu replied, and then pulled Wan Lanxin away. No one thought that Yang Wu would suddenly leave. They were all busy dealing with the one-eyed giant. Even if they knew that Yang Wu had left, no one dared to say a word. Why did Yang Wu need to explain his actions to them? Yang Wu had contributed a lot to the Yang family. It wasn't something that others could measure. He had his own ideas when doing things, so he had his own reasons for leaving. That's right. Yang Wu's departure was to give them pressure, to let them survive in this harsh environment. If they couldn't even do this, how could they become martial saints? He was also afraid that if he stayed by their side, he wouldn't be able to resist becoming their guard. He might as well leave. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. He only brought Wan Lanxin, not because she was his wife, but because she was still lacking in tempering. He wanted to take this opportunity to properly train her. Wan Lanxin, are you ready? Yang Wu asked Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin smiled charmingly and said, You have the heart to train me. Of course I have the heart to make you feel heartache. Feeling heartache for a moment. My heart will be at ease for the rest of my life. Yang Wu said affectionately. Wan Lanxin's beautiful eyes emitted an incomparably happy expression. At the same time, a firm light flashed in her eyes. She would definitely not disappoint Yang Wu. Not long after Yang Wu brought Wan Lanxin, they encountered some evil plants. These plants seemed harmless, but they suddenly released a green poison that was incomparably fatal. If one was careless and came into contact with it, their skin would immediately become ulcerated and they would die from the poison. Yang Wu didn't remind Wan Lanxin to train here. Wan Lanxin's experience was still lacking. She was sprayed by the poison of one of the plants. Her defensive barrier was corroded, and after her arm came into contact with the poison, her entire arm was almost crippled. She didn't hesitate to eat a detoxification pill to suppress the poison. At this moment, the plants attacked, and the poison turned into arrows and shot towards her. Chapter 15:15. Wan Lanxin finally saw Yang Wu's ruthless side. If he said he didn't care, then he really didn't care. Even if she was poisoned, even if she was injured, he just looked on coldly and didn't help. She couldn't help but scold. You heartless man, don't come to my bed in the future. After she cursed, her fighting strength was very strong. The war spear in her hand stabbed out continuously, and waves of energy blasted towards the plants. She was using a top sacred technique called Tidal 7 Arts. It was a power that went from slow to fast. When cultivated to perfection, it could unleash 7 times the power of an attack. Wan Lanxin had already reached the 5th level of the Star Rune realm. Coupled with her way of the emotional spear, the power was even stronger. The evil plants that surrounded her were all destroyed. However, it wasn't over yet. These evil plants seemed to be able to regenerate. They kept growing and completely surrounded her. Wan Lanxin had no choice but to grit her teeth and continue fighting to the end. Lanxin, attacking requires some skill. You won't be able to kill them if you go all out like this. Look at where their roots are and then destroy them. If you only attack and don't defend, You'll exhaust yourself to death sooner or later. Strike a balance between attack and defense. Use the most effective attack to kill the enemy and win. These plants have poor defense. If you can't even deal with them, how are you going to fight for the title of warrior saint? Yang Wu watched from the side and gave pointers. He didn't soften his heart just because Wan Lanxin was his wife and let her fight those evil plants. He stood in place and was attacked by many plants. However, those attacks couldn't get close to him at all. They were all deflected. Wan Lanxin followed Yang Wu's instructions and attacked continuously. Finally, she gained a lot. Actually, her fighting strength wasn't weak, and she had a lot of experience. However, it was her first time facing these poisonous plants. She was really flustered. After this battle, she was poisoned in many places. Even the antidote pill couldn't cure them in a short time. She needed time to rest. Yang Wu walked over with pity and detoxified all the poison in her body. She had just detoxified the poison, and before she could scold Yang Wu, another ferocious beast rushed out from another direction. Hiss! It was a green-scaled snake. Its entire body was green-colored, and it had merged with the plants. It was difficult to discover its existence. The snake flicked its tongue, and it turned into an arrow shadow, biting towards Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin didn't come back to her senses at all. She watched the green-scaled snake bite her and lost the ability to react. Just as the green-scaled snake was about to bite her face, Yang Wu reached out and grabbed the green-scaled snake. The green-scaled snake instantly coiled around Yang Wu's arm. Its strength was quite domineering. If an ordinary saint was entangled like this, his arm would definitely be broken. Yang Wu smashed it to the ground and killed it instantly. Danger is always around. Lanxin, you have to be alert, Yang Wu said to Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin breathed a sigh of relief and stuffed a pill in her mouth. Then she stood up and said, "Let's go." Who's afraid of who? I don't believe that I can't stay here. She was not a person who was afraid of losing. On the contrary, she had always been very hardworking. It was just that she was limited by her physique. Over the years, with Yang Wu's continuous help, her cultivation talent had skyrocketed. Naturally, she was not afraid of any challenges. Next, what awaited Wan Lanxin was the most difficult period of her life. This place was extremely dangerous. Her life was in danger at all times. It was not easy to find a safe place. Here, she had just slaughtered a ferocious beast, and then a group of monsters appeared. She had just gotten rid of these monsters, and then she fell into a poisonous place. It was simply too difficult. Wan Lanxin had escaped death many times, forcing her to be extremely sensitive to everything around her. With the slightest movement, she would be ready to enter battle mode. Until all the strength in her body was exhausted or she was seriously injured, that ruthless man would appear to help her. Then, he would throw her into the medicinal cauldron and help her refine her body over and over again. Entering the medicinal cauldron was not an easy task. The medicine that Yang Wu had concocted had a terrifying, stimulating effect. Not only did it make Wan Lanxin feel extreme pain, it also made her feel the taste of death. This man was really ruthless. Yang Wu murmured, "Endure it, and your fighting strength will be even stronger." Wan Lanxin cursed as she healed. "Yang Wu, you must be doing this on purpose. When I recover, I will definitely squeeze you dry. And when you become stronger, anything can be discussed. Even if you beat me into a pig's head, I will be willing." Yang Wu replied. Just like this, Wan Lanxin soaked in medicinal baths again and again. Her physical strength rose sharply, and her fighting strength also rose sharply. In battle after battle, her improvement was extremely fast. Now, she encountered a stone monster. The stone monster was an ancient monster that had already gone extinct in the transcendent world. Its entire body was gray, like a beetle, but its body was very big. It was good at escaping through the earth, and its defense was very strong. It was hard to kill. Roar, roar! The stone monster roared loudly. The surrounding earth and rocks flew up, crazily smashing towards Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin waved her long spear, shattering the earth and rocks. Her body was like a butterfly shuttling back and forth, dodging the stone monster's attacks. Her eyes aimed at the stone monster's weakness, and she continuously stabbed out. Her emotions reached the depths. Wan Lanxin became one with her spear. The power of the stars gathered, forming a sharp water column. She stabbed out with her spear, landing on the stone monster's body. Bang! The stone monster, which even a high-class peak saint might not be able to easily kill, had its stone armor pierced by Wan Lanxin's spear, and its body was sent flying. Wan Lanxin didn't have it easy either. The stone monster's rebounding force hit her body, forcing her to fly 100 feet away. Wan Lanxin resisted the urge to vomit blood. The long spear in her hand flew out, and she shouted, "Die!" The long spear was like a rainbow, drawing a beautiful arc, ruthlessly landing on the stone monster's wound, nailing it to death. The stone monster wasn't weak, it was very difficult to kill. However, Wan Lanxin, who had just broken through to the 6th level of the celestial rune realm, had assassinated it. It could be seen how much Wan Lanxin had improved in the past month. Not only had she broken through to the 1st level of the celestial rune realm, but her fighting methods were also stronger than before. Her perception ability was incomparable to a month ago. Beautiful. Yang Wu's voice rang out. After pausing for a moment, he said, "This kind of offensive ability is more like it. Keep it up. Husband, you've been tormenting me for so long. Shouldn't you personally demonstrate how to kill the enemy?" Wan Lanxin was in a good mood. Yang Wu's eyes twitched, and then he saw stone monsters appearing in the surroundings. It was obvious that Wan Lanxin had attracted a group of them after killing a stone monster. "All right, I'll demonstrate it to you as a beginner saint. Don't blink." Yang Wu replied and attacked with a battle spear. He was as swift as the wind and as fast as thunder. His speed was astonishing. The long spear drew across the ground, creating bursts of sparks. His aura was incomparably shocking. Those stone monsters also roared and ran over. The surrounding stones moved without wind, crazily smashing towards Yang Wu. There were also stone monsters that burrowed into the ground. When they appeared again, they were already at Yang Wu's feet, opening their mouths to eat Yang Wu. Yang Wu made his move. The long spear first pierced down vertically, and the stone monster's head instantly burst open. His long spear rose up again, swinging like a long whip. The stunning power cut through the sky, and the surrounding stone monsters were sent flying. These stone monsters were incomparably cumbersome. Ordinary saints couldn't move them. Yang Wu swept across and sent them all flying. Even though Yang Wu only had the strength of a beginner saint, the strength of his physical body was so strong that each of his attacks could easily kill a top saint. Bang! Bang! One by one, the stone monsters were directly smashed into powder by Yang Wu. There was no way they could withstand a single blow. It wasn't that Wan Lanxin didn't know how strong Yang Wu was, but when he really made a move, she still felt very shocked. He said that he would only use the strength of a beginner saint, and he wouldn't use any more strength. His beginner saint strength was much stronger than her intermediate saint strength. Yang Wu picked out the stone monsters heart one by one. This was their most precious part. It was of great use to warriors who cultivated earth profound qi. In addition, the stone monster's blood was also very useful. It could be used as medicine. Wan Lanxin walked over and said, "Husband, I have to double my cultivation. One day, I will be as powerful as you." "Silly girl, your husband's talent is extraordinary. How can ordinary people compare to him? If he can have half of my ability, I will be relieved." Yang Wu scratched Wan Lanxin's nose and said, Then let's continue." Wan Lanxin didn't refute Yang Wu's words. He had already used his actions to prove that he wasn't exaggerating. "There's no rush. I think we should leave this place and fight for some interesting things." Yang Wu said, Husband, are you talking about the ancient inheritance here?" Wan Lanxin asked back. "That's right. Look over there. The battle is so intense. If it's not a top-notch sacred object, it might be some ancient inheritance. Moreover, I can feel the dense, baleful aura over there. It's time to see the ruins left behind from ancient times." "Okay, then let's go over and take a look. I also want to exchange blows with other saints." It's good to be confident, but you still have to pay attention to your safety. I'm afraid the temptation of the ruins here is not small. Yang Wu and Wan Lanxin talked as they walked in a direction. The baleful aura was pervasive. They could vaguely see a broken palace. Many figures were flying over there. There were also many fierce beasts roaring again and again. The power of the battle was overwhelming. The surrounding mountains and forests were all destroyed. The destructive power of the Battle of the Saint Realm was really amazing. Whoosh! Suddenly, a blue rainbow flew in the direction of Yang Wu and Wan Lanxin. Chapter 15:16. There were many ruins in the final world, and the martial saint assembly that was held once every 1,000 years could only obtain a few rare treasures from here. This was the ancient battlefield, and there were many ruins. The ruins in front of them were a military pit. The so-called weapon pit was filled with the weapons that had been plundered after the war had ended. During the war, both sides didn't care about the other side's weapons and felt that using them was an inauspicious thing. As a result, some weapons were left behind. Many weapons had already been destroyed in the long river of history, but there were still some amazing weapons left behind, and their levels were so high that it made people drool. Before Yang Wu and Wan Lanxin even got close to the military pit, a battle weapon flew towards them. This battle weapon flew so fast that those saints couldn't stop it. Wan Lanxin also couldn't react in time. It was coming towards her. If not for Yang Wu by her side and controlling the blue light in his hand, the blue light would have probably killed her on the spot. After Yang Wu controlled the blue light, he discovered that it was an ancient sword. It was a bit crudely made, but he could still tell that it was made of extraordinary materials. The whale head hilt, fish scale sword body, and the blue demon core embedded in it looked like a blue whale leaping in front of him. This was a blue whale sword, a peak grade sacred weapon. Good sword. Yang Wu couldn't help but praise it. Yang Wu had obtained quite a few sacred weapons, but he hadn't obtained many peak grade sacred weapons. The blue whale sword in front of him was the highest grade sacred weapon he had obtained. Wan Lanxin was also mesmerized by this ancient sword. So beautiful. Even though the long sword didn't look as exquisite as modern sacred weapons, its shape and patterns were fascinating. Yang Wu was just about to reply when an arrow shot towards them. Yang Wu focused his gaze and released a powerful aura, instantly stopping the arrow. Hand over your weapon. An old saint riding an old wolf flew over. This old saint's strength wasn't bad, and he had reached the high-level saint rank. Among the millions of saints, he was in the upper middle level. He had the guts to reprimand the two youngsters in front of him. Not everyone knew Yang Wu. There were some rogue cultivators who had been cultivating in the depths of the mountains and forests for a long time. They did not care about the affairs of the world and were not clear about the matters of the outside world. This way, they could wholeheartedly focus on their cultivation and could be considered as experts outside the world. Moreover, Yang Wu had only risen to power for a short period of 20 years. To some saints, this was only the time of 1 or 2 secluded cultivation. This old saint was one such unworldly expert. If Lan Xin defeats him, this sword weapon will be yours. Yang Wu ignored the old saint and turned his face to Wan Lanxin, and then tossed the blue whale sword to her. Okay. Wan Lanxin took the blue whale sword and shouted. She then attacked the old saint. You dare to court death? Kill. This old saint was also a ruthless person. Seeing Wan Lanxin's attack, he didn't hold back. He raised his sword and slashed at Wan Lanxin. This was an old saint at the 8th level of the Star Rune realm. Wan Lanxin was still 2 levels away from him. The old saint felt that taking down Wan Lanxin was just a matter of 1 or 2 moves. But after exchanging blows, he realized that her combat strength wasn't any weaker than his. Yang Wu glanced at the old saint, and then he didn't pay any more attention to him, and rushed toward the soldier pit. That old saint was just a person who looked strong on the outside, but was weak on the inside. Wan Lanxin's chances of winning were very high, and this was the reason why he left at ease. Moreover, as her man, didn't he prepare 1 or 2 great killing weapons for her? There were many people fighting at the soldier pit. Other than the human saints, There were also some ferocious beasts that lived in the surroundings and some ancient foreign races. These foreign races were speaking ancient language that no one could understand, and they were fighting against the human saints. These foreign races were also very strong. They looked like humans, but they had 3 eyes, 2 horns, and long hair all over their bodies. They were a little similar to Yakshas, but they weren't Yakshas. Their strength was relatively fierce. These foreign races were protecting the soldier pit, and they didn't allow the human saints to take the weapons. You ugly fellows, get lost. These soldiers are all ours. Don't get in the way. Why are you talking nonsense with them? Kill them all. The saints here shouted as they attacked crazily. Some foreign races were slaughtered, and it was difficult to resist their attacks. These foreign races and ferocious beasts advanced and retreated together. They weren't afraid of death, and they attacked with all their might, killing some of the weaker saints. When Yang Wu approached, a power swept in his direction. It was a sword light that wanted to kill him. Obviously, some people didn't want him to come close. The sword light couldn't get close to him at all. It disappeared without a trace. Someone recognized Yang Wu and exclaimed, "Yang Wu! He's Yang Wu!" Yang Wu won the top 10 on the martial saint predicted list. His reputation wasn't weak. On the contrary, those who could make it to the top 10 were all extremely powerful, and they could fight against omnipotent experts. Some of the saints were shocked, afraid that Yang Wu would kill them. There were also saints who didn't care about Yang Wu, and they continued to rush into the soldier pit to collect the weapons. The soldier pit was huge, and it was shrouded in a lot of murderous aura. No one dared to rush in, because once they touched it, they would definitely be corroded by the murderous aura. They all used their own methods to lure the weapons out of the soldier pit, and then fought for them. The foreign race creatures kept shouting, and they joined forces to unleash powerful attacks to stop the human saints. Moreover, there were still foreign race creatures rushing over. Yang Wu only wanted to get a few handy weapons, and he didn't want to take all the benefits. He condensed a palm and grabbed at the soldier pit. None of the human saints dared to stop Yang Wu. After his name was revealed, who would dare to touch him? How dare you, human? The foreign race creature roared, holding a trident and thrusting it at Yang Wu angrily. This was the strongest among the foreign race creatures, and it had the strength of a top-tier saint. Before this attack landed on Yang Wu, a powerful force was produced, and this domineering attack was deflected back, giving the foreign race creature a big fright. Immediately after, the attacks of the foreign race creatures were directed at Yang Wu. The other saint's firepower was greatly reduced. Some wanted to take advantage of the situation, but they found that they couldn't get close to the soldier pit, as if there was a force blocking them. Yang Wu still ignored these attacks. He extended his hand, and dozens of weapons appeared in front of the saints. Some of these weapons were shiny, some were dull, and some were damaged. They were all accompanied by murderous aura as they flew toward Yang Wu. These were the murderous aura of soldiers. Not only could it harm the body, but it could also harm the soul. Even the saints didn't dare to come in contact with it. Otherwise, this soldier pit would have been emptied. The murderous aura of soldiers spread toward Yang Wu, and even his force of deflection was corroded a lot. This showed how terrifying the murderous aura of soldiers was. Interesting, Yang Wu mumbled. Just as he collected all these weapons, the human saints also launched an attack on him. These saints were not willing to let Yang Wu take these weapons away. "If you want them, I'll give them to you," Yang Wu said calmly, and waved these weapons at the saints around him. Everyone was dumbfounded. Yang Wu just threw away the weapons that he just took out. The sages didn't think too much about it, and hurriedly snatched the weapons that were flickering. The foreign race creatures also rushed forward to snatch those weapons, and ignored Yang Wu. At this moment, Yang Wu rushed into the soldier pit. "Let me see what good stuff is down there." Yang Wu was indeed bold. The murderous aura of the soldier pit was so terrifying, and he still dared to rush in. He must have a death wish. Others were afraid of the murderous aura of soldiers, but it didn't mean that he was. So many extreme tempering sessions were not for nothing. Lightning tempering, dragon aura tempering, void tempering, All of them were extreme tempering and not something that ordinary people could withstand. Although the murderous aura of soldiers was not ordinary and could make a pinnacle saint unable to withstand it, it definitely couldn't hurt him. Yang Wu's diving speed was very fast, and even if someone noticed it, they couldn't stop him. When he rushed into the soldier pit, he immediately saw piles of weapons piled up everywhere like scrap metal. Most of them were damaged beyond recognition, and only a few were still full of spiritual energy, ready to rush out of the soldier pit at any time. Whoosh! Whoosh! All of a sudden, a weapon blasted towards Yang Wu. These weapons still had their weapon spirits left, and the weapon spirits turned into murderous aura, which would only hurt people and wouldn't recognize a master. As expected of the ruins of an ancient battlefield, "I'll take it, I'll take it," Yang Wu shouted excitedly, and reached out his hand to suppress the weapons that were attacking him and prepare to keep them all. Who knew that the murderous aura of soldiers in the soldier pit would change drastically and turn into Tao weapon spirits? They were like ancient ancestors and exuded endless murderous aura and murderous aura. The power of each Tao weapon spirit was not to be underestimated, and hundreds of weapons turned into spirits and attacked at the same time. The attacks of each weapon varied in strength. The strong ones were comparable to a pinnacle saint's attack, and the weak ones were not weaker than a dragon transformation realm's attack. No matter which saint landed here, it would be difficult for him to withstand the sharp attacks of these Tao weapon spirits. Not only did they attack the physical body, but they also rushed into the celestial court to destroy the soul. Kill! Kill! The murderous aura was enough to make one tremble in fear. Yang Wu instantly felt suffocated, and he shouted, "All of you, get out of here!" The soul power in the celestial court was released, and the murderous aura of the Tao weapon spirits were all expelled. His soul power was strong enough to withstand it, and other half-step to Heaven Ascension Realm cultivators definitely couldn't withstand it. The murderous aura of the Tao weapon spirits was too terrifying. After Yang Wu blocked these forces, he continued to hit with his palms, and the weapons fell to the ground. After these weapons lost their weapon spirits, they couldn't withstand the hits at all, and immediately turned into dust. At the same time, Yang Wu stared in a direction and exclaimed, "Weapon! Weapon Spirit Pearl?" Chapter 15-17. The Soldier Soul Pearl. This was a strange pearl that was extremely difficult to form. It was formed by the fusion of many soldier souls. The more soldier souls a soldier soul pearl fused with, the higher its level. The one in front of him had clearly reached the divine realm. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so solid. It was this pearl that had mobilized the remaining soldiers here to attack Yang Wu. It had transformed into the appearance of a veteran soldier, filled with a strong, baleful aura. The soldier soul pearl was the most important item in the soldier pit, but it was also the most dangerous item. The main reason why the creatures outside couldn't enter the soldier pit was because of the soldier soul pearl. Anyone who entered would be killed by the soldier soul pearl. While Yang Wu was in a daze, the soldiers once again surrounded Yang Wu. These soldiers were no longer attacking directly. Instead, they were waving them around like peerless experts. They exploded with shocking power and attacked Yang Wu from extremely tricky angles. The black tortoise armor appeared on Yang Wu's body, deflecting all of their attacks. He reached out and grabbed them one by one. Most of the weapons were just for show. They couldn't be grabbed at all. The ones that couldn't be grabbed were the good stuff left behind. There was a dragon-shaped dagger that was extremely sharp, almost piercing through his black tortoise armor. There was also a long halberd that caused ripples to appear on his black tortoise armor. This was at least a soldier that was half a step into the heavenly ascension realm. Yang Wu continued to attack and collected all of them. He didn't let a single one of them go. The soldier soul pearl was furious. It roared continuously, releasing a boundless, baleful aura. Together with even more weapons, it attacked Yang Wu. Before the soldier soul pearl's attacks could land on Yang Wu, other saints had rushed in. Some of the saints were wearing armor, clothes, and helmets. They swooped down. There were peak-level saints and half-step heavenly ascension realm saints. There were 6 of them in total. They were all here to fight for the weapons in the soldier pit. When the soldier's soul pearl sensed them, its baleful aura exploded. Even more soldiers charged at them like rainbows. Although these people were strong, the soldier soul pearl's power was comparable to the Jade Moon realm. How could they block it? Two of them were killed on the spot by some weapons. It was not that their armor could not defend against it, but that the baleful aura was pervasive. They could not defend against it even if they wanted to. First, their souls were turned into baleful aura, and then they were killed by the weapons. There was no way to defend against it. Just a casual attack. It had the power of the Jade Moon realm. It wasn't something an ordinary saint could block. This kind of attack wasn't much of a threat to Yongwu. The real threat was the baleful aura that had invaded his divine court. He expelled it, so it couldn't harm his soul at all. The others didn't have it easy. The baleful aura of the soldier soul had entered their divine court. Although some of them could use their helmets to block the corrosion, the power of the soldiers wasn't something they could block. Puff! One of the saints had one of his arms cut off. Blood gushed out, but he still grabbed a weapon and tried to flee. Unfortunately, before he could fly out of the pit, he was corroded. He didn't manage to take the weapon. Instead, he left his own behind. Another half-step Heaven Ascension expert activated the power of his armor. He blocked the attacks of the soldier soul pearl, then grabbed his sword and flew out. He was very fast. He thought he could escape, but the soldier soul pearl shot toward him like an arrow. Bang! The soldier soul pearl instantly smashed through his divine armor and completely corroded him. The other two couldn't escape either. The soldier soul pearl transformed into a 1,000-hand guanyin. It controlled thousands of soldiers and destroyed everything in its path. Who could stop it? Yongwu was also attacked, but it was all within the range of his ability to deal with. The soldier soul pearl's level wasn't low, but it was formed by the baleful aura of the soldier soul pearl. Its intelligence wasn't fully developed, so it couldn't unleash its full power. It only knew how to rely on its instincts to kill. Yongwu collected many weapons. He could have taken the opportunity to leave, but he didn't. His goal was the soldier soul pearl. He wouldn't leave. Roar! The soldier soul pearl charged at him. Many of the weapons flew toward Yongwu again. Yongwu had nowhere to hide. Such power could threaten a mid-level immortal state creature. Yongwu also started to feel the pressure. He didn't want to waste too much time with the soldier soul pearl. He released his dragon soul aura to block the baleful aura. Then, he rushed over like a fierce dragon. The black tortoise armor on his body kept spinning, deflecting many of the attacks. Some of the weapons were destroyed, some were swept away, and some were broken. The black tortoise armor had a great advantage against such attacks. Yongwu and the fat Taoist had been gone for 10 years. He hadn't wasted those 10 years. His understanding of his Tao had reached a very deep level. It was too easy to deal with the soldier soul pearl with just the Tao of deflection. He used another talent, Wind God's Leg. The Wind God's Leg carried the power of the wind and formed a storm. It swept the weapons away. Even the soldier soul pearl couldn't control them. In the storm space of the divine firmament battlefield, Yongwu had learned the Tao of wind from the divine chain in order to save the wind spirit. Not only did it increase his speed, but it also increased the power of his wind god's leg. It could be said that the power of his wind god's leg had reached the 3rd level. The soldier soul pearl formed a wind dragon. It tore apart the power of the soldier soul pearl and rushed toward it. The soldier soul pearl didn't have intelligence. It only had a strong, baleful aura. It turned into a peerless sword shadow and slashed toward Yongwu. The terrifying sword shadow had the power of a mid-level immortal state creature. Even a high-level immortal state creature might not be able to block it. Yongwu still didn't fight it head-on. The storm formed by the shadows of his legs swept away the powerful sword shadow. He also used all his strength to break the sword shadow. Bang! 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 Terrifying explosions rang out continuously. The baleful aura in the soldier soul pearl kept surging. The creatures outside the soldier soul pearl were scared and quickly flew away. Those who didn't react fast enough were directly killed by the baleful aura of the Soldier Soul Pearl. In addition, some Soldier Soul Pearl also flew out. It was enough for the creatures outside to fight for it. They all knew that there was great danger in the Soldier Soul Pearl. If it didn't have something to rely on, they would only die. Some sages resonated with the Soldier Soul Pearl and luckily took away a good Soldier Soul Pearl. There were also creatures of other races who forcibly intercepted a Soldier Soul Pearl. They all had their gains, but the losses were greater than the gains. Birds died for food, and humans died for wealth. These were the unchanging laws since ancient times. Wan Lanxin fought with the old sage with the blue whale sword. At first, she was suppressed by the old sage. Later, she turned the situation around and used the Tao of the emotional spear. She also used 3 moves that she had created to injure the old sage and force him to retreat. She could defeat the old sage, but it wouldn't be easy to kill him. She still needed to continue cultivating. Wan Lanxin didn't go near the Soldier Soul Pearl. She couldn't resist the baleful aura of the Soldier Soul Pearl, so she didn't force herself to worry Yangwu. She waited for an opportunity. When she saw another Soldier Soul Pearl fly out, she rushed over to fight for it. There were many sages fighting for it. She wasn't the strongest, but she wasn't the weakest either. It didn't matter whether or not she could obtain a saint weapon. What was important was that she could participate in a battle of this level. Only then would she know her own combat strength. It would be best if none of them obtained a Soldier Soul Pearl. The baleful aura of the Soldier Soul Pearl floating up from the Soldier Soul Pearl would directly disperse them. Wan Lanxin, on the other hand, was being targeted by a non-human creature. To be precise, the creatures of other races had their eyes on the blue whale sword in Wan Lanxin's hand. Several sages of other races surrounded her. Not only that, but many peak sages of other races also charged out, scaring away the human sages. There were sages of other races living nearby, so they couldn't be too arrogant. Human woman, hand over the weapon, a sages of other races said in broken human language. Tender meat, eat it, another sages of other races said with hostility. Come and get it yourself if you can, Wan Lanxin responded aggressively and took the lead in attacking them. Woman who overestimates herself. The sages of other races responded and attacked Wan Lanxin with great power. Unexpectedly, Wan Lanxin's move was a feint. She didn't fight them head-on. Instead, she turned and rushed into the Soldier Soul Pearl. It was a risky move. She had no choice but to go into the Soldier Soul Pearl. Only then could she save herself. Although the baleful aura of the Soldier Soul Pearl and the Soldier Soul Pearl was terrifying, she could still hold on for a while. Previously, Yangwu had used the dragon marrow liquid to temper her body. He had also used some rare baleful aura to stimulate her body. Her physical strength was comparable to that of a high-level sage. As long as she didn't go too deep, she could hold on. As expected, those sages of other races didn't follow her. They were more afraid of the baleful aura of the Soldier Soul Pearl than anyone else. Otherwise, they would have cleared the Soldier Soul Pearl long ago. They didn't leave either. Instead, they stood guard around the Soldier Soul Pearl. As long as Wan Lanxin came out, they would immediately take her down. At this moment, the baleful aura in the Soldier Soul Pearl decreased, and Wan Lanxin's figure was exposed. Those sages of other races were overjoyed and kept cheering. Human woman, let's see where you can run to this time. I heard that human women are very delicious. Let me try. Those humans ran away quickly just now. Now she's the only one left. She must go back alive. Those sages of other races surrounded her and looked very proud. It was as if Wan Lanxin was already a turtle in a jar in their eyes. There was no way she could escape. Wan Lanxin didn't panic at all. She shouted, "If my husband doesn't come out, I will be captured by the sages. Who dares to capture my wife? Are you looking for death?" Chapter 15:18. Yangwu had come out. This meant that the Soldier's Soul Pearl in the pit had been taken by him. Of course, those foreign creatures did not know. When they saw a human walk out of the pit alive, their 3 eyes were filled with surprise. When they saw the gray pearl in Yangwu's hand, Greed flashed across their eyes. They did not recognize the Soldier Soul Pearl, but they could sense that it was not ordinary. Take them down. The peak-level, saint-level creature ordered his companions. I'll do it, a high-level, saint-level foreign creature shouted. He raised his weapon and charged at Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin raised her spear and faced him. She could handle this foreign creature. The moment she attacked, another foreign creature attacked from the other side. Clearly, he did not want to give Wan Lanxin a chance to fight him one-on-one. In addition, two other non-humankind creatures spurted out strange energies towards Yang Wu as well. These foreign creatures were all powerful. Otherwise, they would not have chased away the human saints. Hey, you guys want it, right? Here you go. Yang Wu laughed and threw the Soldier Soul Pearl out. After the Soldier Soul Pearl lost control, a large amount of murderous energy appeared again. It condensed into thousands of weapons and charged toward the foreign creatures. Yang Wu flashed and hugged Wan Lanxin. He protected her in his arms and did not let her get hurt. Roar! Roar! The Soldier Soul Pearl went out of control again. Its destructive power was overwhelming. In the blink of an eye, the foreign creatures were drowned by the murderous energy. Those foreign creatures did not even have time to scream before their bodies disappeared. The other foreign race beings were all given a fright, and they hurriedly fled in all directions. What kind of pearl is this? How can it be so powerful? It must be the strange pearl in the pit. It's filled with murderous energy. Could it be the Soldier's Soul Pearl? Run! It's coming. We can't stop it. These creatures could not escape at all. The power of the Soldier Spirit Pearl was fully unleashed. The area within a radius of a few miles was covered by the Soldier Spirit Baleful Chi. From afar, one could see countless weapons flying back and forth. There were swords, sabers, spears, whips, all kinds of ancient weapons occupied the area. At the same time, it also attracted many other human beings to come closer. When these humans saw such destructive power, they didn't dare to act rashly. They had been waiting for this power to weaken, and then they would see if they could gain anything. When this power disappeared, the non-humankind beings completely disappeared. There were only two figures standing on top of the pit. They were like an immortal couple. The man had an awe-inspiring, immortal aura, and the woman was valiant and formidable. They were a perfect match. It's Yang Wu. Looks like it's hopeless. The saint recognized Yang Wu and exclaimed softly. Then, he turned around and left without any hesitation. So what if it's Yang Wu? Do you think he can eat it all by himself? There was also a saint who said unwillingly. However, he didn't dare to move. He stayed where he was and didn't dare to go to the pit. Although he said that, in reality, he didn't dare to provoke Yang Wu. He lived up to his reputation. Yang Wu was able to reach the top 10 of the martial sage predicted list. Naturally, he wasn't weak. Moreover, news of his battle achievements had already spread. He had no opponents below the omnipotent realm. Only the martial sages who were ranked at the top were qualified to be his opponents. Some saints were unconvinced. They brought 2 or 3 people and rushed toward the pit. Unfortunately, they were destroyed by the Soldier Spirit Pearl before they could get close to the pit. They didn't even have the chance to break the jade pendant. This time, none of the saints dared to stay. They all turned around and left. The Soldier Spirit Pearl must have been controlled by Yang Wu. Otherwise, why would it take the initiative to hurt people? What kind of pearl is this? I feel that it can transform into many weapons. Wan Lanxin asked curiously. The Soldier Spirit Pearl is a pearl formed by combining all the soldier spirits into one. Yang Wu held the Soldier Spirit Pearl and explained with a smile. After a pause, he continued, any weapon that is embedded into this Soldier Spirit Pearl will definitely become a powerful divine weapon. It can also explode with the baleful aura of the soldier spirits. Its destructive power is extremely strong. Moreover, it has room for growth. If it continues to devour soldier spirits, it can continue to grow. Its value is immeasurable. It's that powerful? Wan Lanxin exclaimed. Yes, it's that powerful. Yang Wu said affirmatively. Then he pointed at the pit and said, there are still some good weapons down there. You can choose from them. I'll take the rest with me. Hee hee. My husband is so powerful. Wan Lanqing laughed and kissed Yang Wu. Then, she rushed into the pit to look for weapons that she liked. Wan Lanqing picked many weapons in a row, but only 2 of them could be used. One was a whip weapon, the other was a spear weapon. There was also the blue whale sword that she had just obtained. It was enough for her. Yang Wu once again returned to the pit. His body released a powerful aura, causing the entire pit to shake. Bang bang. One after another, the decaying weapons crumbled apart, leaving behind only some damaged weapons that could still be used and a small number of completed weapons. These weapons could not escape at all. Yang Wu kept them all. Yang Wu held a domineering saber in his hand. He waited and said, "I'll use you next." Tyrant Saber, an ancient complete weapon. It was a peak-level saint weapon. The reason why Yang Wu left behind a weapon was naturally because he had his own intentions. The 2 blades, 3 dragon spears, and the mysterious phoenix sword were all destroyed. He had not rebuilt them. Their levels were too low and had to be rebuilt. Moreover, their levels had to catch up. Only when they reached the divine weapon level would they be useful to him. Now, this Tyrant Saber could be used to fight for the title of Martial Sage. Who knew that his saber skills were not inferior to his spear skills and sword skills? As for the Soldier's Soul Pearl, he planned to keep it. When he rebuilt the 2 blades, 3 dragon spears, he would embed it into it and turn it into a divine weapon. Yang Wu brought Wan Lanqing and left this place. He continued to let Wan Lanqing temper herself. He also did not stay idle. He began to practice with the Tyrant Saber. A weapon could only display its greatest power after becoming one with it. In addition, he also prepared a pair of boxing gloves. This pair of boxing gloves was not obtained from the pit. They were his previous weapons. As for which dead ghost relics he had obtained them from, he could not remember clearly. His fists would always be the most powerful weapon he could rely on. The first layer of the Apocalypse world had many spiritual items and many sacred items. However, it was not easy to find divine items. One had to enter the second layer. Many martial sage realm cultivators would not stay in the first layer for too long. Instead, they rushed to the second layer. These people had all come for the title of martial sage. They had to at least reach the third layer. Staying in the first or second layer did not give them the qualifications to become a martial sage. Yang Wu and Wan Lanqing were not in a hurry. As they tempered themselves, they collected spiritual items and sacred items. Their harvest was not small. However, these were not their greatest harvest. Their greatest harvest was that they had discovered the ruins of the battlefield. The ruins did not have too many dangers. They only had to deal with some vicious beasts. They were not too strong. Most of them were just small, vicious beasts. There were many marks left behind in the ruins of the battlefield. The power of a finger had broken open a fissure that was tens of thousands of feet long. There was a sword mark that had split the land. There was a broken spear that had fallen on a huge mountain. There were no martial skills in the ruins, nor were there any good divine weapons. There was only the willpower left behind by the war. It was the best place to temper one's soul consciousness. Many human powerhouses had gathered here. They were using the power of their saint souls to resist the will of war left behind in the ruins. Yang Wu was also protecting Wan Lanqing. They were tempering their soul consciousness in this place. The stronger the soul consciousness, the stronger the soul combat strength, and the better it was for one's cultivation. Yang Wu also tried tempering himself. However, he discovered that the willpower in this place was too low. It was not very useful for tempering himself. He simply protected Wan Lanqing with peace of mind. After tempering herself again and again, Wan Lanqing's harvest was great. Her aura became increasingly sharp. She had the same feeling as when Yang Wu saw her in the mountain prison. She was so heroic and confident. In addition, the willpower of the battle scars left behind here was even stronger. Whoever could resist these wills might be able to obtain a martial intent or an incomplete martial skill. Wan Lanqing also had harvests. She had comprehended a powerful sword skill from the sword scars, and its power was quite formidable. Yang Wu was very pleased with this. Wan Lanqing's cultivation talent was poor, but her perception was not bad at all. If she continued like this, she would soon be able to catch up to the white-haired demoness. Yang Wu had no interest in these shallow martial intents. However, he discovered something that interested him. There were many martial intents in this world. This meant that the masters of this world were very powerful. Each of them had comprehended a martial intent and comprehended their own Tao. He secretly thought in his heart, if I can collect these martial intents and let the people below comprehend them, their combat strength will inevitably rise. To collect martial intents, such a whimsical idea was something that only Yang Wu dared to think about. These martial intents were left behind in this world. How could they be collected? The power of will that was left behind by the battle scars left behind. So how could it be collected by others? However, just because others didn't have a way didn't mean that Yang Wu didn't have a way. He had the immortal moon mirror technique and could imitate any martial skill. He could even imitate some martial intents. This was something that he had comprehended during his 10 years of wandering the world with Taoist Pig. As soon as he thought of it, he would do it. He looked at every battle scar in the ruins. As long as he sensed a martial intent, he would activate the immortal moon mirror technique to imprint that martial intent. After imprinting it, how could he preserve it? He continuously formed hand seals, and the xian qi of heaven and earth gathered. A crystal bead appeared in his hand. His imprinted martial intent was transmitted into the crystal bead, and the xian qi of heaven and earth entered it. Suddenly, the crystal bead became extraordinarily different. After successfully imprinting it, he continued to form hand seals, laying down a seal on the bead, forming a sealing bead. Chapter 15:19. Sealing beads. This was a method that could be used by kings who had reached the Earthsea realm. However, the Earthsea realm sealing beads were incomparably rough. They wouldn't last long before collapsing. At the very least, one had to reach the dragon transformation realm to leave behind a sealing bead that could last for a long time. Sealing beads that reached the saint realm were incomparably firm and could be preserved forever. As long as the seal was opened, one could obtain the inheritance at any time. Yang Wu had used the immortal moon mirror technique to brand his martial arts will and condense it into a sealing bead. This was the best method to pass down the inheritance. Even if he left this place, he could still give these sealing beads to the people he wanted to give them to, and they would still have harvests. Unless their perception was too low, then there was no other way. The soldier's soul bead, martial intent sealing bead. These were Yang Wu's greatest harvests. As for the remaining 1.5 moves, he didn't have much interest in them. He was a little impatient to rush to the second level. After Wan Lanxin finished comprehending, she earnestly said to Yang Wu, "Husband, don't worry about me. You should go to the second level. There's no hurry. I'll stay behind to accompany you." Yang Wu responded. After entering the final world space, there was no hurry to leave, and there was no hurry to compete for anything. Whoever stayed the longest would be the winner. It sounded like child's play, but in fact it was very fair. This place was always filled with danger. Without strength, how could one stay until the end? The first level didn't put much pressure on Yang Wu. Even if he encountered the most powerful Cyclops, he could still defeat it. He also didn't fear those monarch-level flying crocodiles. It could be said that this level didn't pose any danger to him. "Husband, I know you're doing this for my own good, but your goal is to become the first martial saint. You don't need to worry about love. Moreover, I should have the ability to protect myself on the first level. You left me many life-saving treasures, so don't worry. Don't you want me to become stronger? If you stay by my side, I will always feel safe. No matter how dangerous it is, I won't have to worry about my life. This is not good. Only when you leave can I really force out my potential." Wan Lanxin hugged Yang Wu's waist and said very seriously. She didn't want to drag Yang Wu down. She had to let Yang Wu go alone. Otherwise, she would be too selfish as the clan leader's wife. Yang Wu stroked her hair and said, "All right, since you have such thoughts, I won't be unreasonable. I'll leave the sacred mando flower here and have it accompany you in the future. I'll be more at ease." Then he summoned the devil's snare flower and said to her, "Protect the mistress well. If anything happens to her, don't live." The mandala holy flower didn't want to leave Yang Wu's side, but it was Yang Wu's command. She quickly said, "Yes, master. As long as you protect the mistress well, you won't be short of benefits in the future." Yang Wu promised. "Don't worry, master. I will definitely protect the mistress well." The sacred mando flower responded happily. As long as Yang Wu said this, she could rest assured. The sacred mando flower had grown to the mid-level divine realm. The speed of its growth was so fast that even Yang Wu felt it was incredible. It was worthy of being one of the top 10 evil plants. Wan Lanxin was very happy to get the sacred mando flower. Feeling Yang Wu's sacrifice for her, she was very satisfied and happy. So the two of them found a quiet and safe place and let the sacred mando flower guard a place. They did something that made the sacred mando flower feel embarrassed. To do such a shameful thing in broad daylight. It's really not kind at all." Yang Wu and Wan Lanxin left. This time, it wasn't that Yang Wu was cruel. He had already left the sacred mando flower behind, which proved how much he valued Wan Lanxin. Wan Lanxin was right. The martial saint assembly was of great importance to him and his family. He could not give up on the competition for the sake of his relationship with his daughter. Besides, Wan Lanxin also had her own path to walk. He couldn't protect her forever. He had to let her walk her own path. Only then could she have the strength to protect herself. There were countless capable people in the world. Not everyone could enter the saint realm without worries. Above the saint realm, there was the martial sage realm. After the martial sage realm, there was the reaching heaven realm of the jade moon realm. There were overlords in the reaching heaven realm. Above them, there were even more powerful gods. There was no limit to martial arts. No one dared to say that they were invincible in the world. Yang Wu had too many things to protect. He didn't just live for himself. He also lived for his lover and family. So he had to become stronger. There was no reason for him to stay stagnant for a moment. Wan Lanxin also understood this point. That was why she let him go. Yang Wu went into battle easily. He didn't even bring the silver-patterned tortoise. He wanted to explore the end world and plunder some heavenly treasures. He planned to go to the most dangerous places on the first floor. One was the one-eyed giant's lair, another was the flying alligator's swamp, and the last was the bamboo forest that was extinct in the transcendent realm. He could leave this floor after making a trip there. The one-eyed giant lived in a rocky mountain. They weren't many, but every single one of them was very powerful. Their defensive power was unparalleled. They were one of the strongest creatures on the first floor. Yang Wu wanted to go to the one-eyed giant's lair to obtain the giant's heart and the stone Xingqiuan that was unique to their clan. These two were the most precious items. They weren't divine items, but they were comparable to divine items. The giant's heart was incomparably important to warriors who cultivated Earth's profound energy. If they could obtain one, they could cultivate the giant's body and gain the ability to transform into a giant. In addition, it could also increase their offensive and defensive power. It was easier said than done to obtain them. They were all items that had a price, but no market. The stone Xingqiuan was a top-grade sacred liquid used to temper the body. Using it could temper a body comparable to that of a rock. It could also increase the strength of Earth's profound energy warriors. Yang Wu didn't cultivate the power of Earth, but if he could obtain these two items, it would be a wonderful thing to take out to trade. In addition, he also wanted to compete with the one-eyed giant's physical body to see who was stronger. Yang Wu came to the vicinity of a rocky mountain. As far as the eye could see, there were gray stones. Under the sunlight, they emitted a shocking amount of heat. Anyone who went near them would feel like they were being roasted. This place was the one-eyed giant's lair. At a glance, he didn't see any giant figures. This couldn't escape Yang Wu's eyes. There were some big mountains that were their bodies. They didn't like to move. They only liked to stay in place and absorb earth energy to grow. When they moved, it was time for them to stretch their muscles and bones. Yang Wu swaggered over. The one-eyed giants still didn't move. Like rocks, it was difficult for others to detect their existence. They had already discovered Yang Wu's existence, but they pretended not to see him. Often, when the prey fell into their hands, they would kill the prey like swatting a mosquito. Yang Wu jumped over their bodies and mischievously stepped on them a few times. He even pulled down his pants and peed at the one-eyed giants. The one-eyed giant cursed in his heart, "Damn brat." Yang Wu's position just happened to be where his butt was. It was the best position for him to not make a move. Otherwise, he would slap Yang Wu to death with a backhand. He was afraid that if he didn't hit Yang Wu, he would slap his butt and break it. Yang Wu smiled and headed towards the tallest mountain. The gray spring water that was flowing down from there was the sure Xingqiuan that he was looking for. The stone Xingqiuan was very different from ordinary spring water. It flowed down like a mudslide. It looked very turbid, but in fact it was a kind of top-grade holy spring water that could be used to temper the body. Yang Wu wasn't in a hurry to collect it. He sensed that there were others hiding in the dark. He might as well hide in a corner and watch the show. When those people were about to get close to the stone Xingqiuan, a giant palm slapped towards them. A shout rang out, "Die flies!" The giant palm was extremely powerful. When it came down, it could easily crush a mountain into powder. Those people had also come prepared. A heavy hammer enlarged and went to meet the giant palm. Another wolf-tooth club also went to smash it. The strength of a sage expert was also not to be underestimated. Bang, bang. The one-eyed giant's strength was so great that it shattered the power of those saints. "Go collect the stone Xingqiuan. We'll deal with him." Those saints had clearly come prepared. One of them shouted, and many of them worked together to deal with the one-eyed giant. A few of them went to collect the stone Xingqiuan. Those people's explosive power could indeed block the one-eyed giant's gravity attack, but they couldn't block the one-eyed giant's eye technique. It killed 3 of them on the spot. The one-eyed giant's light was extremely overbearing. Even high-level saints couldn't withstand it. Only the top saints could withstand it. In addition, the saints who were going to collect the stone Xingqiuan were attacked by the other one-eyed giants. Meteorites fell from the sky and smashed towards them. They had nowhere to hide. "You dare to come to our territory? You really don't know what's good for you." The one-eyed giants came to life and shouted, "You big guys, hurry up and keep lying down. Otherwise, I'll kill you all." A domineering voice sounded as a huge meteor hammer smashed down, shattering the arm of a cyclops on the spot. Someone who could hurt a one-eyed giant was at least a saint at the peak or a half-step into the heavenly ascension level. "General Gongzhe, you came at the right time. Take them down," someone called out in surprise. "Lord Gongzhe's divine power is unparalleled. How can these giants be his match?" Someone else flattered. Gongzhe was a saint at the peak from a dynasty. Although he wasn't a half-step into the heavenly ascension level, he was already in the top 10,000 on the martial saint ranking. He was indeed powerful. This person was wearing a suit of armor and looked like a general on the battlefield. He was riding a black armored horse and held a meteor hammer in his hand. He looked quite mighty and extraordinary. "Hand over the giant's heart, sure Xingqiuan. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." Chapter 15:20. This General Gongzhe came from the Great Qin Empire, which was located in the western Qin realm. This General Gongzhe held an important position in the empire and controlled many troops and horses. He was used to being ordered around by his superiors, and this bad temper did not change after coming to the end world. The nearby sages were all from the western Qin realm, just like him. They were all very respectful to him. However, this arrogant General Gongzhe was soon unlucky. A very powerful cyclops came through the air and swung an arm at him. This General Gongzhe swung his meteor hammer again, thinking that he could shatter the cyclops' arm in one hit. Who knew that he underestimated the cyclops' strength? He could not shatter the cyclops' arm and was hit by the arm instead. His mount could not escape fast enough and was smashed into meat paste, while his entire body was sent flying. The nearby sages were dumbfounded. Didn't this arrogant general want to sweep through the Cyclops? Why was he sent flying with one hit? This general was quite strong. He was wearing a divine armor. So how could he be killed so easily? He rushed back, tidied up his helmet, and shouted, "You traitors are too bold. Do you know who this general is?" This general is, before this guy could finish his words, a huge fist came over and instantly sent him flying tens of thousands of feet away. This general was like an undying cockroach. He rushed over again, waving his meteor hammer and roaring, "I will not forgive you." In the end, he was sent flying with another punch. The nearby sages could not bear to watch. They covered their eyes and retreated as far as they could. However, how could the Cyclops let them escape so easily? Beams of light shot out from their eyes, and many sages fell. The general tried to fly back several times, but he was still sent flying. His nose was bruised and his face was swollen, but he still put on the airs of a general. "Rebel, rebel, I am angry." This time, he was truly enraged. He threw out a formation map. Marching Saint map. Kill, kill. Suddenly, many soldiers and generals appeared, carrying different weapons. They rode their mounts and charged at the Cyclopes. The one-eyed saint, who had just attacked him, was surrounded and killed in an instant. Wave after wave of saint power descended and landed on the one-eyed saint's body, forcing him to retreat continuously. The marching Saint Map's army surrounded the Cyclops, trapping it in place. General Gong placed his hands on his hips and laughed heartily. "Ah, who told you to underestimate me? You don't even know how to spell the word death. Now, kneel and beg." Before he could finish his words, he was sent flying again. This time, it was another Cyclops that attacked. This General Gong was too careless. Yang Wu covered his face. He couldn't bear to look anymore. Where did this weirdo come from? It really wasn't easy for him to live until now. Yang Wu didn't have time to waste here. He quickly rushed towards Shi Xingquan. The Cyclops on his side finally seized the opportunity to attack him. Kill the fly. The Cyclops, who had just been peed on, angrily swatted at Yang Wu, wanting to smash him into meat paste. Yang Wu's speed was very fast. He directly swept onto the body of another Cyclops. When a giant palm fell, he increased his speed and dodged it. Bang! The Cyclops couldn't stop his palm. He slapped the other Cyclops, who was pretending to be asleep, and smashed him up. "You're crazy. How dare you hit me?" The Cyclops who had been hit got up and said, "I just wanted to hit the fly." The Cyclops who had just attacked felt wronged. "Hit the fly my ass. I think you have a problem with me." "How can you say that? Didn't you see the fly over there? Do you think I'm blind? Why didn't I see it? I just want to ask why you hit me." "You bastard, I hit you." The two one-eyed giants began to wrestle with each other. Yang Wu laughed. "These big guys are quite cute." While he was in a daze, a palm that covered the sky slapped down angrily. This palm landed solidly on top of Yang Wu's head. Yang Wu slowly raised his hand and raised a finger, directly blocking this shocking giant palm. The Cyclops who attacked was surprised. He tried to press down again, but the finger below was like a pillar that supported the sky. It held his palm firmly and couldn't go any further. "Big guy, is this all you've got?" Yang Wu said disdainfully. He raised his finger, and a sharp force broke open the one-eyed giant's thick palm. "Ow!" The Cyclops screamed in pain and quickly retracted his hand. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu flew up with his palm and grabbed one of his fingers. He threw the Cyclops over his shoulder. In the end, he didn't throw the Cyclops away. Instead, he broke the Cyclops' finger. "Ow! It's broken. It's broken." The Cyclops screamed while holding his hand. Although their bodies were very strong and made of stone, they were actually very afraid of pain. Normally, they would be protected by layers of earth and stone, and no creatures could hurt them. They rarely tasted pain, and once they were hurt, they would let out exaggerated cries of pain. Gongja flew back and saw Yang Wu suddenly appear. He couldn't help but exclaim, "Who is this young man? How can he be so brave? It seems that he can become a warrior under my command." In the next moment, he flew up to the Cyclops' shoulder. The Cyclops' other palm slapped over, but it was still blocked by Yang Wu. "Your strength is not enough. You should practice a little more," Yang Wu said. He sent out his palm and punched through the Cyclops' palm. Then, he flew to the Cyclops' ear and twisted it with his small fingers. He shouted, "Do you submit or not?" "Ow!" The Cyclops screamed. A strong earth power exploded from his body. Waves of yellow light shook, trying to send Yang Wu flying. But Yang Wu didn't move. No matter how much he tried, he couldn't force Yang Wu back. Yang Wu didn't have time to waste with him. He tore off the Cyclops' ear and said, "It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you won't be afraid." Immediately afterward, Yang Wu stopped being polite to the one-eyed giant. He circled around the giant's huge head and continuously slapped it on the stone head. Bang! Bang! The Cyclops' stone head was cracked. He screamed. He kept covering his face and yelling, "Don't hit my face. I'm really angry." Regardless of whether he was angry or not, the Cyclops was knocked to the ground by Yang Wu. The other Cyclops didn't dare to move. They were too big. If they helped, they would hit their own people. The light of the Cyclops was also very powerful. It could easily cause accidental injuries. They could only panic and vent their anger on General Gongja. If General Gongja didn't have the godly armor, he would have been beaten to death. Now, he was caught in the hand of a one-eyed giant. He couldn't break free even if he wanted to. It was extremely miserable. Without his power to support his marching saint map, it was just a useless map. "How dare you? How dare you?" General Gongja shouted. "Let me go, or I'll destroy your entire family." He released his holy chi and kept struggling. He wanted to break free from the Cyclops, but he couldn't. The Cyclops yelled at Yang Wu, "Human fly, stop, or I'll eat him." Yang Wu was stunned. Then he laughed and said, "Haha, then eat him. Hey, brother, we're sworn brothers. You can't leave me in the lurch," Gongja yelled. He was so scared that he wet himself. "Oomph, you humans are too cunning. I'll really eat you." The Cyclops didn't believe Yang Wu. Gongja yelled, No, I'm really his brother. If you eat me, he'll kill you." But Yang Wu didn't take it seriously. Instead, he sat beside the Cyclops' face and said, "He wants to eat us humans. What do you think?" The Cyclops, who didn't know what to do, yelled, "Gobi, don't eat humans." "Gobi? That's a good name." Yang Wu muttered to himself. The Cyclops called Gobi yelled, "Gore, how can you be so weak? Get up and smash him to death." The Cyclops called Gore wanted to cry. He thought, if I could smash him to death, would I be put on the ground? This human is really strong, all right? He replied, "If you don't want me to die, eat him." This time, the Cyclops hesitated. Although the Cyclops fought with each other, they were still very united. After all, they were few in number. The death of one of them would be a big blow to them. "Okay, I'll let him go. You let Gore go." Gobi didn't think much and let Gongja go. General Gongja had never been so angry. He raised his meteor hammer and yelled, "Gobi, I'll smash you to death." Bang! He didn't hit the Cyclops and was sent flying with a punch. It wasn't that General Gongja didn't work hard, but the Cyclops was too strong. He couldn't resist. "Okay, you can let Gore go. I promise I'll let you leave this place," Gobi replied. "You're mistaken. I didn't say I'd let him go just because you let him go," Yang Wu said lazily. "Human, you're playing with me," Gobi said angrily. "Roar." Suddenly, Gore cried out. His face had been punched by Yang Wu again, and it looked like it was about to crack. "Stop," Gobi roared, and his Cyclops shot a beam of light at Yang Wu. This beam of light contained a terrifying destructive power. If it hit, even an Empyrean expert would die a violent death. This guy really didn't care about the lives of his comrades. Yang Wu wanted to retreat, but after a moment's hesitation, he stayed in front of the Cyclops' face. He got into a stance and threw a simple punch. "Your comrade wants to kill you. Wait for me to save you." Bang! Chapter 1521. The one-eyed light was extremely powerful. Unfortunately, it was still shattered by Yang Wu's punch. The one-eyed giant Gore, who was under Yang Wu's feet, was so scared that he wet his pants. If that one-eyed light had hit him, he would have lost half his life, even if he didn't die. He didn't expect that the puny human would save him. He was inexplicably moved. Yang Wu swept away from Gore and crossed his arms in front of his chest. The one-eyed light is only SOSO. The opponent's attack was only comparable to the attack of a level 1 Jade Moon. It was nothing in his eyes. Gobi shouted, "Damn fly, I'll slap you to death." A huge palm slapped over like a collapsing mountain. Its power was extremely shocking. In addition, a terrifying gravitational field was born, causing the other creatures to slow down. Yang Wu ignored the gravitational field and nimbly dodged it. He said contemptuously, "You can't do it alone. Come at me more. I'll play with you." In the next moment, Yang Wu's body crazily grew. In a few blinks of an eye, he reached a height of 300 meters. He was still a few hundred meters away from the one-eyed giant in front of him. He shouted, "Bigger, bigger, bigger." 600 meters, 1,500 meters, 1,800 meters, 2,000 meters. Yang Wu's body suddenly soared until he reached a height of 300 meters. Even if he wasn't as big as the one-eyed giant, he was half as tall. Not only that, but the power that erupted from his body was extremely terrifying. It was much more terrifying than the power released by the one-eyed giant in front of them. It was as if he could pick the stars and the moon with a wave of his hand. The one-eyed giants around them opened their eyes wide. They couldn't believe that the human in front of them could transform and become so tall that he could almost pass them. In the distance, Gongzhe had just flown close when he stopped and cursed, "Damn, this kid is also a giant." Of course, Yang Wu wasn't a giant. His great success, holy body, had already broken the limit. It could be called a small success, godly body. What are you waiting for? Let me see how strong you are. Yang Wu felt that he was in great shape. He stretched his muscles and shouted at the one-eyed giants around him. "Then I'll show you." Gobi shouted and threw a punch at Yang Wu. This punch was full of earth power. Rolling stones crazily rushed over and formed a huge stone fist that fell on Yang Wu. The one-eyed giant's mastery of the power of earth could be said to have reached the pinnacle. Ordinary non-human beings could not compare to him. On the other side, Ger also got up. The wounds on his body had already healed. He held his breath and shouted, "Kill!" How could Yang Wu resist the attacks of the two one-eyed giants with such ferocious attacks? Gobies, 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 gobies. Bang, bang. Two punches came out from left and right to meet Gobi's and Gobi's attacks. The four punches were wrong. The surrounding dust and stones were shaken into the air. The ground instantly cracked, and many stones were turned into powder. Yang Wu blocked their attacks and wasn't sent flying. Both Gobi and Gore were visibly moved. How powerful were they? Even ordinary deity-level creatures wouldn't dare to casually clash head-on with them. Could it be that this human in front of them was also born with divine strength? He was actually able to block their attacks. "You're too weak. Get out of my way." Yang Wu shouted. The power in his arms shook, and Gobi and Gobies were sent flying on the spot. At the same time, he swept toward Gobi and threw punches at his opponent's chest. They were all the simplest straight punches. There was no Xin Qi floating in each punch. There was only pure physical strength. Gobi couldn't withstand it. Gobi's body cracked. In the end, Yang Wu directly punched through it. When Gobi's body fell, Gobi's I shot over. Yang Wu reacted quickly. His attack speed didn't slow down because of his body's size. He was as agile as ever. With a side kick, he shattered the eye's light. Yang Wu's body flickered. He swept over, arched his body, and hit Gobi's abdomen with his knee, sending him flying. The two giant cyclopes were no match for Yang Wu at all. The other cyclopes couldn't take it anymore. Pieces of rocks were thrown in Yang Wu's direction. In addition, beams of light from the cyclopes were shot at Yang Wu. They looked like they were going to surround and kill Yang Wu. Yang Wu began to run. He did not dodge. Instead, he continuously attacked with his fists and legs. He either threw punches or whipped kicks, shattering all of the rocks and the one-eyed light. These powers didn't give him as much pressure as he imagined. He roared, "If this is all you've got, I'll raise your cyclopes to the ground." Yang Wu was incomparably domineering. His aura soared to the heavens, intimidating all the cyclopes. In the distance, Gongzhe was shocked by Yang Wu's aura. He exclaimed, "Oh my, what a tiger general. If the Great Qin Empire had such a tiger general, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. If he could become my subordinate, it would be even more amazing. Incredible. The human race wants to compete with us in strength? He's overestimating himself. He's too arrogant. I'm going to beat him to the ground. My giant tribe's divine strength is unparalleled. Who can compare to us?" The one-eyed giants were enraged and unleashed their full power. Some of them were carrying mountains and smashing towards Yang Wu. Some of them were waving their heavy fists. The one-eyed light was like a meteor that bombarded Yang Wu's body. Yang Wu used the cyclopes to practice his fist techniques. He broke through many attacks and fought fiercely with the Cyclopes. Yang Wu and Taoist Zhu walked for 10 years. In these 10 years, he walked through mountains and rivers and crossed dangerous mountain ranges. He had already honed his physical body to an even more powerful state. Normal powers couldn't hurt him. Only a tribe like the giants, who were known for their strength, could give him some pressure. Bang bang. After a series of fierce collisions, the Cyclopes were forced back. Some had their chests smashed, some had their arms broken, and some were sent flying. Yang Wu wasn't completely unharmed. His body was continuously attacked. He didn't use the black tortoise armor to deflect these attacks. He only used his strong physical body to resist. The pain from these attacks wasn't much of a threat to him. Compared to the power of the void and the power of the heavenly thunder, it was much weaker. It could be said that his physical body had reached the level of invincible Vajra. It didn't take long for Yang Wu to knock the dozen or so Cyclopes to the ground. If he wanted to kill them, none of them would be able to survive. "Sir, please stop. We admit defeat." An old voice came from not far away. An old Cyclopes slowly walked over from not far away. This old Cyclope's skin was already very loose. It seemed that he didn't have much time left. "Chief," the dozen Cyclopes in front of him all respectfully called out. Yang Wu looked at the old Cyclopes and said with a smile, "Senior, you're very tactful. Take whatever you like. We won't interfere." The old Cyclopes said generously. Yang Wu said directly, "I'll take some Shixingquan. In addition, I need a few giant hearts." "A few giant hearts? Are you crazy?" A Cyclopes shouted in dissatisfaction. Shixingquan was fine. After all, it was just there. They could always have it, and it wasn't very useful to them. Giant hearts were different. It was the cornerstone power of their growth, the energy left behind after their death, and also the heart that gave birth to their future generations. Yang Wu opened his mouth and asked for a few giant hearts. How could they bear it? The old Cyclopes waved his hand at his clansmen and said to Yang Wu, "I can only give you one. This is non-negotiable." Yang Wu said with a smile, "3. Impossible." The old Cyclopes said with a flash of hostility. God-level power burst out from his body. He was much stronger than the other Cyclopes. He didn't attack Yang Wu. He just wanted to intimidate Yang Wu. Yang Wu said indifferently, 3. Not one less. The old Cyclopes was angry. Without waiting for him to speak again, Yang Wu added, "Don't worry, I won't take you for free. I can refine a cauldron of stone heart divine pills for you. It's not too much to ask for 3 giant hearts." "What is the stone heart divine pill?" "We don't care about it." Another Cyclops replied, "Get out of here. Do you really think we can't beat you? If we work together, we can still kill you. Get out of here. This is our territory. You bullied us, and now you want to rob us. You're too bad." These Cyclopes felt wronged. In his entire life, he had never been beaten to such an extent by anyone. They didn't know where this human in front of them came from, but he beat them up like this. They were too sad. "Stone heart divine pill? A divine pill that's useful to our clan?" The old Cyclopes asked calmly. "That's right. Stoneheart Divine Pill can let you live for a while longer, and it can also help you raise your strength by a level. Of course, it can also let you cultivate a powerful successor like you," Yang Wu said with certainty. "What if you lie to us? You can refine the pill first, then give me what I want." "Okay, I'll believe you this time. Then I'll make a list. You can go and prepare it. I believe you could take it out." Yang Wu made a list of rare recipes and gave them to the old Cyclopes for him to find. The things needed in the recipe were naturally different from the real recipe. The Shixing did exist, and it was also useful. Yang Wu did not fool them. The reason he was willing to refine pills in exchange for giant hearts wasn't because he wasn't confident he could get a giant's heart, but because he wanted to get more benefits from the Cyclopes. He had asked the other party to list the prescription 10 times as much as he had asked for it. It had to be said that Yang Wu's thoughts were really dark. If anyone dared to say this to his face, he would definitely spit in their face. Refine it if you can. Stoneheart Divine pills weren't something anyone could refine.